Record day on Wall Street. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The Dow up 87 points at the closing bell to 21,639. The S&P also hitting new all-time highs today. Wall Street optimistic about corporate earnings while shrugging off a report on retail sales falling for a second straight month. Replacing Obamacare remains a tough sell in the U.S. Senate. Fox's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
The Senate Republicans will spend the weekend considering a new health care proposal, expected to get a procedural vote early next week.
I think if we can't get through to this and done with this before the August recess, then we need to pivot because we've got a lot of other stuff to do.
Number 3 Senate Republican John Thune urging his GOP colleagues to at least agree to debate the health care measure. It will take 50 of 52 Senate Republicans to advance the bill. Already 2, Kentucky's Rand Paul and Maine's Susan Collins, say they won't. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. The Justice Department is taking the president's travel ban back to the U.S. Supreme Court, appealing the changes made by a federal judge who expanded which relatives can be included in the familial ties necessary for possible exemption from the ban on 6 countries deemed terror threats. Some residents in one Florida neighborhood are now sinkhole evacuees. Fox's Eben Brown is live in Miami.
Lisa, that sinkhole is at least 200 feet wide and at least 50 feet deep, and it swallowed up homes and a boat in the town of Lando Lakes, north of Tampa.
In a very short time, it had taken in a house, and then it took in about 80% of another house.
That's Kevin Guthrie, a local emergency manager. People living in 11 homes were told to move out, and the sheriff is ready to tell more to leave if the sinkhole sinks further or grows bigger, Lisa.
Thanks, Eben. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Home isn't just a place. It's a feeling that you're safe to enjoy the things that matter most. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Whether you're at home, your business, or online, we help keep you safe. With security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling for less than $1 a day. ADT. Home. Safe home.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 4242 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 4242.
A judge in San Francisco says the trial could start next month for a man deported 5 times and now charged with murder. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal.
The attorney for Juan Francisco Lopez Sanchez recently wrote in an op-ed that his client found a gun on a bench that just went off in his hands. Kate Steinle was shot and killed while walking on the pier with her father 2 years ago. Lopez Sanchez's attorney says the kind of gun found has a history of accidental discharges. Lopez Sanchez had been released from jail months before the shooting, even though ICE had asked the San Francisco Sheriff's Department to hold him.
The sheriff said he couldn't due to city and federal law. It's one of the cases fueling the nationwide debate over so-called sanctuary cities. A popular summer event marred by an outbreak of swine flu.
Ohio state officials ordering nearly 300 hogs to be slaughtered after at least 2 animals tested positive for swine flu at the Clinton County Fair in southwest Ohio, where everything in the hog barn, including animals, would have to be destroyed. One hog breeder saying it's been difficult, especially for children whose animals will be slaughtered. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says when humans are infected with swine flu, it's typically transmitted by prolonged exposure to hogs at agricultural fairs. Organizers stressing that the rest of the fair is safe and will go on as scheduled through Saturday. But a Clinton County health official says any fairgoer feeling flu-like symptoms should see a doctor. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
One of Ohio State's most famous football stars is suing the university. Linebacker Chris Spielman claiming in an antitrust lawsuit that a marketing program is using athletes' images without permission and that current and former players should be compensated. An Ohio State spokesman says they're looking into the matter. Recapping Wall Street, 3rd record day in a row, the Dow topping 21,600. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
The struggle is real Jeremy.
With names, man.
It's real.
Hard. Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all summer long. Call 866-EXPERTS or you can visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, sunny, clear, low of 58. Saturday, partly cloudy, high 82, a low of 63. Sunday, chance of thunderstorms, high 84, a low of 58. Right now, sunny, clear, 81 in Champaign-Urbana.
It is the Tay and J Show. It's Friday. Lante, Jeremy Warner. Talking sports. We're going to get off early today. St. Louis Cardinal baseball is back. Baseball in general is back. That's always a nice thing, even though we didn't really suffer the last 4 days. It didn't seem like it. I was going to start with something, but I don't know if I want to. So never mind. I'm going to avoid it.
What a tease.
I know.
What a weird way to start off the show.
You know what I didn't get to yesterday is that I almost got tossed out of a 9 and 10-year-old baseball game.
We'll do that before we
are going to do that because I know a lot of people were sending me messages going, really? What happened?
Yes.
And I'm like, well, you got to hear the story.
So we'll talk about that at some point today before we get out. We are out a little early today, about 5:10 for Cardinals baseball. Cardinals at the Pirates. Mike Leake against Garrett Cole. And despite the big move by the Cubs right now, you guys still have the same record. They did not get a better record over the All-Star break.
That doesn't automatically add wins? No. I thought maybe that did.
Even though it projects that the Cubs will be 2 to 3 wins better now with Quintana.
Yes.
That hasn't happened yet.
No.
That's just on paper and projections.
And we think
you got to actually play games.
You got to play games, and that's what we'll see what happens. I just want consistency. If there's one word that could describe your team in the second half of the season, for me, the Cardinals, consistency.
White Sox would be lose consistency.
Lose. Yeah, I wonder what the Cubs would be. I'll have Austin think of that word. Get hot.
That's
game.
2 words. That's what Austin usually uses.
Full game.
Full game.
A number 3 pitcher. Maybe somebody actually going out there. Okay, I am going to say it. I know we're going to get to sports, but this weekend, you mentioned the weather, this weekend. I recently bought a house, right? So I am in the process. I was so impressed with myself at how much work I did early on in that house. I mean, a buddy of mine and we laid a floor. I ripped out cabinets.
That's not the Tay and J way.
That is not the way.
We pay people to do these things.
Even
if we can't afford it,
right?
Because it's just too stressful.
Right.
I'd rather deal with money problems than the stress of putting a house together.
I remember one Saturday morning, I ripped a huge hole in my hand and I tweeted out a picture of my bloody glove, a la O.J. Simpson. And you're like, Lon, pay somebody.
Killed 2 people.
I know, it's like, pay somebody to do it. But here's the deal. So I have decided this year, I don't know that I on purpose decided this, but you know me, I'm a traveler. I love to go to Florida. I like to sit on a beach. I kind of made a decision this year that I'm staying local. I'm not going to get away that often, but I'm going to do some things around here and, go to concerts, that kind of stuff. I have been on a roll doing this stuff for the last month. Like every weekend is booked. And I've had a blast doing it. But the other day I sat there and I'm like, Lon, it is time to focus back on the house. Because ever since a certain spot, I have not done anything else on this house. So this weekend, including tonight, I'm going to go home and I'm going to work on that house. That sounds so boring. And I'm so mad at myself right now saying that. But it's the adult thing to do. It's the responsible thing to do. And I'm mad about it.
Okay.
Should I be mad about it, or
I'm wondering why you're bringing this up to start the show.
I don't know. Well, that's why I didn't. That's the point.
That's kind of where I know. Like these are things we talk about during the break.
It is,
and we do like to talk about our lives.
Yeah. Well,
but there are things going on in sports.
Well, right. That's why I said, you know what? I don't even want to talk about it because we need to get to sports. But it's that everyday occurrence that people I think appreciate with us.
Yes.
And there it is. So we're gonna get to sports now.
I like that you were just talking about what's on your mind. I just don't know if I have a comment back for you.
No, and that's fine. I just hope people out there understand the pressure. Not the pressure, just that I'm going to have a really crappy weekend working at that. So when everybody else, so when you're out on your boat or you're at a concert or you're having fun with your buddies drinking beer, I just want you for 1 minute to say, here's a toast to Lante, who right now is out trimming the paint on his ceiling.
Real American heroes.
You know what's going to happen?
Thank you, Mr. Weekend Warrior.
Tomorrow about 10 a.m., I'm going to throw that paintbrush down and be like, what am I doing? Let's go drink beer. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
I think I'm just watching the kid this weekend.
Oh, your video this morning?
Yeah.
Your video this morning at Torrent.
He can be cute at times.
Oh, Well, yeah. See, I see the cute stuff.
Yeah, you
haven't posted much of
2 minutes after that.
But today he was just, I don't know, he was
speaking in tongues.
If I could speak that language, I would have loved to have heard what he was thinking.
Yeah, it was last night actually. I recorded it. I didn't post it until this morning.
It was just like he was talking and straining so much. I thought he was going to poop his pants.
He's in this weird in between stage where he's trying to talk. So he's trying to talk.
I was laughing so hard at that.
But at the beginning of that is like he was. It's not just like dada because that's normal baby stuff.
I didn't know if he was mad at you and Tiff or.
What is that? Okay, that's
was
normal.
dada. Yeah,
I thought like it was possessed.
I thought he was mad. He's either mad at you, maybe he's mad about the news today that Illinois football maybe heard. Not that they heard it, but Illinois football fans, certainly this isn't the best news.
Yeah, baseball is back. And Lon, if you're working on your house, you can just listen to the Cardinals.
You know what? I can have the Cardinals
on ESPN 93.5.
Bam.
Let's bring this thing back full circle.
Well done.
Yes, the news came out. I started to hear it last night. I posted it on our site today. Vertus Brown has committed to Florida State.
Okay.
Got word late last night that it was heading this way. Vertus didn't hide it very much on Twitter either, but obviously this is one of the guys I thought Illinois, one of the 4-star players Illinois had a chance at.
Okay.
He visited here so many times.
Yeah, he liked it seemed like.
He was from Chicago, but transferred Chicago Mount Carmel, a powerhouse, and then with Houston Griffith, transferred down to IMG Academy down in Florida. And once that move happened, it felt like, okay, this is going to be tougher for Illinois.
Okay.
But he kept coming back to Illinois.
Yeah.
Whenever he came back home, he kept coming on visits, and that usually shows that he has real interest in you.
Absolutely.
And, he kept telling me, I can see myself being a foundation piece, but in the end, he wanted to be part of a powerhouse program, and I can't fault a kid for that.
You can't.
I can tell you, Illinois is surprised because I was told he was never really ever going to come to Illinois.
Okay.
And Illinois is surprised by that.
Okay.
Because, Vertus comes from a bad neighborhood. And his parents wanted to get him away from that.
Sure.
So that's part of why he went to IMG Academy. But I think Illinois is a little too close.
Fair enough.
Sometimes being the in-state school hurts you.
I agree.
Because it's close to home. And sometimes for Illinois, I think it's almost easier as a rebuilding program to sell yourself to out-of-state kids. Because, one, you're away from home. You're far away from home.
And maybe that's helped Illinois in the past.
You're doing something different, and these kids just don't know much negativity about Illinois football.
So true.
They know more the positive about Illinois football. But Vertus Brown commits to Florida State. That takes a big target off their board, defensive line-wise. The good news is defensive line, they added a lot of good players this past year, and Illinois this week was named in the top 5 of 4-star defensive tackle Calvin Avery.
Yes.
So he's a teammate of commit Kevin Myers, a 3-star offensive lineman, and Kevin is working hard on Calvin Avery. Avery was up here when Kevin visited in June, and I can tell you Illinois is one of the probably top 3 schools for Calvin Avery, and he's going to decide in August. And it's these interesting pipelines that Illinois is trying to get, whether it's Florida, whether it's Texas. It sounds like TCU is the team to beat there, but Illinois is getting involved and getting in these battles. I know everybody wants to land all these 4 and 5 stars, and it is disappointing they didn't get Vertus. And I do think Lovey, after this year, should reassess his staff.
Fair enough.
Reassess their recruiting efforts. But last year it worked out.
Yeah.
This year is not a completely done class. And if you told me Calvin Avery or Vertus Brown, I would say both those players pretty much a toss-up right there.
Right.
And some people like Calvin Avery more. So if they're able to get a guy like that, I think it's just as good. It's just people have heard the name Vertus Brown for a long time.
Well, and sometimes, and there's been examples at Illinois. Kevin Turner is the perfect example of a kid that came basically with Bryant Notree, but Kevin Turner ended up being an unbelievable basketball player for Illinois and helped this school, helped him win a Big Ten championship. But sometimes, you do maybe recruit a kid thinking, all right, if we can get him, maybe we could get this kid.
But Kevin Myers
is
not that.
That wasn't the case.
He's probably the best recruit in Illinois' class right now when it comes to offers.
So that wasn't the case. And now, I mean, if you're on that side, and I get it, because there's been plenty of examples of Illinois trying to get on that side of trying to recruit someone you're probably not going to get and end up spending a lot of resources and not getting them. And I get it when fans get upset about that. I do once in a while. But in a situation like this, if you've got a kid that's committed to you who's doing most of your cheerleading, what's the issue?
Yeah, and John Gross got caught into this when kids would tell him, hey, you're in my top 2 or 3, but most people outside the recruitment knew he's not going to go to Illinois. Juwan Evans was one of those guys.
Perfect.
Elijah Thomas was one of those guys.
Okay.
Virtus Brown, it feels like people that knew Virtus felt that he wasn't going to Illinois, but he kept telling Illinois and the family that, oh, yeah, you guys are in that. That's where a staff needs to have the relationships where you can be honest with people.
Yeah, I agree.
And decide whether you actually want to put time into that.
I agree.
And basketball, I think, Orlando Antigua is going to be in a lot of big-time recruitments. He's going to have to decide which ones to spend his time on, like which are actually worth spending my time on. That's a really important part of recruiting.
Yes.
Is knowing a recruitability of a prospect. Because why spend time on a kid, no matter how talented he is, if you have no chance
if you're not going to get him ultimately? I agree. And it's almost a tease to fans because, let's be honest, we fans look at this stuff through a lens of we want to win a national championship. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to want your team to be the best in the country and to experience something that a lot of other colleges have experienced so many times. And more importantly for us, the fan, that a lot of college fans have experienced in other places that we have not. But yet, after a while, you do sit there and you think, all right, well, you're spending a lot of time on this kid, and it almost teases you like, hey, we got a shot at this, when in reality, really do you? It's funny, I was thinking this morning, and I was reading you guys on IlliniInquirer.com. I was waiting for, there you go. I was waiting for you to get the bell positioned. And with Orlando and all of the staff, but especially Orlando, it is hard enough tracking recruiting, and this guy's got reach everywhere. So now all of a sudden, every time I get on your site, it's a new guy that I'm reading about, and I'm like, I can't. I'm going into overload here. I got to back off.
And Orlando's shooting high.
Yes.
I don't know how many of those guys he's going to land.
Fair enough. That's fair.
But that's why they brought him on.
Yeah.
It's to see what they can do.
Fair enough.
But Illinois is really focused on the in-state class in 2018. Derek Piper's out at Peach Jam, all those big tournaments right now.
He's doing a great job
down in
that.
Georgia. Yeah, he's doing a good job covering it. But Illinois extended another offer to a kid in 2018, which didn't seem like a very deep class.
Okay.
Well, it's developing, especially with the big man. Ayo Dosunmu obviously is the big target, the point guard out of Morgan Park. Tim Finke's struggling right now out there in the circuit. And I don't think that's helping him right now. I mean, he's got to show that he has the athleticism, the toughness, the consistent shot.
Yes.
To be a big-time playmaker at the next level. He's struggling a little bit. And then Taylor Horton-Tucker. And then Illinois has offered some up-and-coming big men who have questions, but it's hard to find a no-doubt high-major big man.
And you need them.
Yeah, it is hard. I mean, there are not enough high-major big men for high majors to get. So sometimes you take developmental prospects like Michigan did with DJ Wilson.
Right.
That worked really well for them. Illinois had gotten a lot of big men. That didn't work out well for them, but you kind of got to roll the dice with some of these kids. George Condit. Illinois was the first Power 5 high major school to offer him, and he's out there on the circuit showing his stuff. And he's a, not a given.
Okay.
Right? He's not a given high major prospect, but he's intriguing because he's got a 7'3" wingspan. He's got an interesting skill set, but he's not a great rebounder, and he's not very tough yet because he's so skinny.
Fair enough.
Well, Illinois offered another 2018 developmental big man today out of Chicago Morgan Park, the same school as Ayo Dosunmu. We can talk about that here in a second.
Okay.
Tamel Pearson, who's about 6'9", 195 to 200 pounds, has really developed over the last year. And I asked our buddy Joe Hendrickson, I texted him, I go, what do you think of him? He said he's okay. There aren't enough high major bigs to fill all the high major rosters. He's a really good mid-major plus prospect who will go higher. Not real athletic, but plays hard. So I guess he's playing really well out there on the circuit. He's got talent, though.
Yeah.
He's got some talent. He's just a raw player. So this is an interesting one because it's obviously an in-state kid.
Right.
Long kid, big kid. But also he's teammates with Ayo Dosunmu.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That helps.
And Illinois has kind of positioned themselves. It's like Horton-Tucker and Finke. We like you both.
One of you two.
One of you two.
Yep.
Condit or Pearson.
I
one
like
of
it.
you two. Right?
I like it. And we are all learning how Brad Underwood is going to, even the staff, I think, right? And I think stories that I've read on your site have alluded to the fact that, all right, now all the assistants are kind of more aware now of what Brad Underwood is wanting in terms of skill set, in terms of that kind of stuff. And it's interesting how we are learning what is he really looking for with this. I'm the traditional just give me a rebound, right? Okay, you're a big man. Okay, my first thought is, do you rebound? I'm the George Montgomery back in the day for Illinois fans that loved that guy that came in here and got you 9 to 10 rebounds a game. But now basketball is changing so much, and we've talked about this, how there's really not positions. Don't think of it as a center anymore. You're almost wanting a big man that's mobile who can also rebound, don't get me wrong, but you also want your wings to be able to rebound, etc. But it is funny how you almost have to change your thought pattern as to that, and I'm the perfect example because, again, I think big man, you told me today about this guy, I'm like, I wonder if he can rebound. That's the first thought I had in my head.
Yeah, he can. I mean,
perfect.
That 5 spot, it might not be, Condit doesn't, he's skinny.
Right.
He's not a back to the basket guy, but Greggy Boyd Bowden.
Yes, that's the guy.
What he wants is somebody who does a couple things well. A Boyd Bowden can defend and rebound.
Perfect.
You might want Condit, who's more of a different kind of player, but he's skilled.
Yep.
He's got offense. He can shoot a little bit. 1 through 4, he's going to want a lot of shooters on the court.
Amen.
Pearson's more of a rebounder, defender, play hard, more a Boyd Bowden kind of player.
Got it.
So, but it's not like he wants the same 5 3 times on the roster.
That's exactly right.
He wants different players with different skill sets.
I love it.
He wants, he doesn't want the same tool in the toolbox. He wants a bunch of different guys who can do a bunch of different things.
And these guys are all out there right now playing these circuits, and all the coaches are out there. And I think it's cool to read stories about all these different coaches are hanging out together, and you see all the different coaches at games and seeing all these games. So it's interesting, man, that this whole AAU thing that has blown up in the last, 5 to 10 years is just such an interesting thing for those of us that just remember, okay, you played high school basketball and you were good. Now we want you on our team. Now it's more about these AAU circuits and how these coaches have to go. They have to be seen. And that's exactly what coaches are doing right now. They're being seen.
And it gives them the reason this is so big, and 1, the shoe companies, but 2, coaches get to see the players play against the top competition in the country.
And multiple times.
That's better. I mean, high school is important.
Yeah.
But when you want real evaluation,
good call.
This is a big part of it, is you get to see them play against the best talent in the country.
Because like Io against Lante in high school, that probably wouldn't have been much of a challenge.
Not that hard.
For Io, that is.
Yeah, not that hard. Baseball is back. The Cubs are at Baltimore. You got Mike Montgomery against Kevin Gausman.
He's going to get lit up
tonight.
Montgomery.
Jose Quintana pitches on Sunday. Cardinals Pirates, you'll hear that on ESPN 93.5. Mike Leake against Garrett Cole. And if you care, the White Sox play tonight, and they got a good chance of losing, because James Shields is on the mound against James Paxton. The Mariners visiting Guaranteed Rate Field. We'll talk a little more baseball in the 4 o'clock hour. Coming up next, we'll chat with Brett Behrens, WCIA3 sports director. He's at the John Deere Classic, which is always littered with Illini.
I love it.
And this year you have Dylan Meyer and Nick Hardy as a part of the festivities. So we'll get an update from there. We'll ask him about Illini football and basketball as well. And he did not for WCIA, but for his own personal, he did a story on himself.
It's amazing.
I don't know if you ever heard Brett's story, but we'll let him tease that a little bit. You can go watch it, that he put it out there. And then Steve Greenberg, our buddy from the Chicago Sun-Times, has a book coming
looked
out.
through that today. That is really cool. If you love college football, if you like college football, this is a book I think you would love.
Yeah, it's the diehard football fans bucket list blitz, 101 rivalries, tailgates, and gridiron traditions to see and do before you're sacked. So a bucket list for college football. We'll talk to Steve about that. I'm interested in the process of putting a book together like this. I think we could ask him about college football as well, because we've got Big Ten Media Days in just a week and a half.
I cannot get out of this first segment, and Austin, I need you to listen to this. So last night, Andrew, we're on this 2017 The Show kick with MLB, so I played him last night, and I'm always the Cardinals, but I'm like, I want to be somebody different. He's like, who do you want to be? I'm like, I want to be the White Sox.
Yeah.
So I flipped to the White Sox, so he goes, well, you know what, Dad? I'll be the Cubs. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. So I start Quintana against the Cubbies, and Brett Laurie went 5 for 5, 2 home runs. The Sox beat the Cubs 10-1. Quintana, a 2-hit complete game. So there you go, Cubs fans. That's what you're getting with Jose Quintana, a guy that can shut down your own Cubs team with only 2 hits.
See, and that's the Brett Lowry that both the Oakland A's and the White Sox wanted and didn't get. Instead,
2 bombs he hit at Wrigley.
Toronto knew something because they traded and got Josh Donaldson back.
Oh.
So
Pretty good move there.
359-2255.
Those are the numbers from the Chief Bauer text line and also the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line. 217-359-2255. Big props again yesterday, and thanks to D. Brown who stopped by. I have had hundreds of people today mentioning that and just saying how much they loved that interview. It was just an impromptu interview with D, one of our favorites, obviously, that came on the show. All right, Brett Behrens, WCIA 3 sports director. He joins us next. It is the Tay and J Show.
When you hit the brakes in time, but the guy behind you doesn't, get it to Gerber. When your teenager puts the dent in Stu Dent Driver, yep, get it to Gerber. Gerber Collision and Glass. Call 877-7-GERBER. Gerber comes highly recommended.
This is Chuck Lee with Provident Financial Group. Are you sure you're on track to reach your retirement goals? Wondering how much money you'll need to last your lifetime? Whether you're retiring in a few weeks or a few years, we can analyze your needs and create a plan that's right for you. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA, SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Why drive to Key West when you can enjoy the new Tiki Bar and Patio at Daly's Sports Bar, 116 West Washington Street in Philo. With 9 flat-screen TVs and the MLB package, you can take in your favorite team's action live. Daily drink specials Wednesday through Friday evening from 5 to 9 p.m. Enjoy the Daly's Outback Food Wagon on the patio featuring special burgers, sandwiches, shrimp baskets, fried and grilled cod, nachos, tacos, and cheesy fries. Now through August 25th, enter to win a trip to Las Vegas with $100 cash drawings every Friday. There's no purchase necessary to enter and win. Co-sponsored by XL Entertainment, Illinois' most chosen terminal operator. Play slots and win some cash at Daly's, featuring the latest and hottest slots. Come in and play slots, have a blast, some great food and drinks, and hit the jackpot. Be sure and enter for your chance to go to Vegas now through August 25th with $100 cash drawings every Friday at Daily Sports Bar, 116 West Washington in the heart of Philo. Must be 21 or older to play slots. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Alto Vineyards has long been a leader in the Illinois wine industry, winning over 700 awards in national and international wine competitions in the last 20 years. Now, Alto Vineyards, along with SJ Broadcasting, present Music Among the Vines, East Central Illinois' premier summer concert series, held under the stars. Stop by Alto Vineyards each weekend throughout the summer and indulge in Illinois wines, premium beers, soft drinks, and light food items, all while experiencing the best music the area has to offer. For more details, visit altovineyards.net or call 356-4784.
This Saturday night at 7:30 at Alto Vineyards Music Among the Vines, it's live music from the Painkillers. Don't miss the Painkillers. Saturday at Alto Vineyards Music Among the Vines. More details at altovineyards.net. Then be back on Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. for free live music from Billy Golt. We'll see you this weekend at Alto Vineyards.
Game Day Spirit, the official fan store of the Fighting Illini at 1422 South Neal Street, is officially closed. In the meantime, continue to get all your Fighting Illini needs online at GameDaySpirit.com or at the fan store on the corner of 6th and Green in the heart of Campus Town. There you can find their large selection of BOGO tees. New to the BOGO deal is the flexibility to mix and match youth sizes with adult sizes. Want to be the first to hear about Game Day's deals and promotions? Follow them on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram by searching at Game Day Spirit. And you stay up to date on officially licensed Fighting Illini gear from the official fan store of the Fighting Illini.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Lands is your local Mitsubishi Electric Diamond dealer. Our technicians are experts at solving your comfort needs, one room or your whole house. Let us show you how a Mitsubishi Electric Heating and Cooling System can save you money now. Your comfort is our priority. Call Lands today at 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
Beacon Insurance and your local independent agent are committed to providing the best coverage options and the best service possible. They're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at beaconinsurance.com and on social media. Check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/Beacon Insurance. It's a great way to learn more about insurance for your auto, home, life, or business. You'll stay up to date with important announcements. Plus, they'll throw in a few fun facts along the way. For beyond the expected information, follow Beacon Insurance on Facebook today.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Hello, I'm Austin Berkman with the 3:30 Sports Center update presented by State Farm agent John Kaywood. Life insurance is one of those subjects that make people want to change the subject rather than admit they probably don't have enough. Find out how the benefits of life insurance can live on for your family. Illini have some recruiting news in football and in basketball. Starting in Illini football, Vertus Brown, a 4-star defensive lineman or offensive lineman from Chicago, and IMG has committed to FSU. Illinois was heavily involved there. The Illini have offered another Mac Irvin Fire and Morgan Park player in Tamil Pearson. Tamil is a 6'8", 200-pound power forward. He has offers from most notably Oklahoma State and Washington State. Well, baseball starts tonight, and all three local teams begin their second halves of the year, but trade winds keep swirling around the Cubs. John Morosi of MLB Network and Fox Sports reporting that sources are Cubs continuing to show interest in Sonny Gray even after the Jose Quintana trade. One reason, vacancy still remains in the 18 rotation. Ken Rosenthal doubled down on the report and said, "Will be interesting to see how hard the Cubs push for Gray. Pursuit makes sense given likely of free agent losses and perhaps raise prices for Brewers. One thing Theo Epstein has proven over and over through the years, he can make a deal." Now on to the actual baseball games. The 43-45 St. Louis Cardinals begin their second half with a road trip to Pittsburgh for a 6:05 first pitch. It's the 3.12 ERA owner Mike Leake taking on Garrett Cole and his 94 Ks. The Cardinals own a 4-2 record over the Bucks this year. Listen to the game right here on ESPN CU 93.5. The Cubs start their second half with an interleague matchup against the Baltimore Orioles in Camden Yards. It's Mike Montgomery who only pitched in relief against the O's. He has an 0-4 record with a 4.58 ERA against the LEs. That game's time starts at 6:05, listed on US 105.9. And the now Quintana-less White Sox and the Seattle Mariners. It's the Battle of the Jameses. It's James Paxton versus James Shields.
Lose.
Thank you, Austin. It is the Tay and J Show. Lonte, Jeremy Warner, you can weigh in 217-359-2255.
Yeah, we didn't get our propers out there. Austin Berkland interning for us today. You just heard him on updates, and Trevor Valise as well. Want to congratulate Jacob Sigler from Charleston. He won our Masterbuilt Smokehouse from the realtor that rocks, Stephanie Pratt with Coldwell Banker, the real estate group. Get recipes that rock at StephaniePrattHomes.com and keep listening because we have yet another smokehouse to give you in the month of August.
Let's get some ribs going there, Jacob. We'll be down. That's not that far of a drive, down 57.
I'll do it for ribs.
Throw some addresses out, buddy, and we'll be down there in a heartbeat. All right. You and I were just talking real quick, and we're going to visit here with Brett Behrens, WCIA 3 sports director. I don't want to ignore a text somebody had sent in, Lon. I do not see Milwaukee winning the division. I know you're biased as a Cardinal fan like this guy is as a Cubs fan, but do you think either one of those have a shot at the division? I think Milwaukee will fall apart. I don't want to go into full depth right now, but I kind of mentioned to you, and I think you'd already thought of this, is that one of these days we will kind of try to break down the Brewers. I think for me, I'm not going to lie to you, this first half, I kept waiting for them to kind of, okay, one of these, they're going to start losing 6 or 7 straight, and the Cubs will overtake them, and the Cardinals will start creeping up, and Milwaukee basically will fall back down. But so far, so good for Milwaukee.
I think the lineup's legit.
It is.
Eric Thames, he's had his ups and downs, but he's a real high walk rate guy. That power is legit coming over from Korea. It's kind of like we were talking about Brandon Paul going overseas, then coming back. You have a different kind of confidence. Domingo Santana's a really talented player. Keon Broxton's a really talented player. They already had Braun in the middle of that lineup. He's still good. And then they made a great trade to Boston for Travis Shaw, and he's kind of done what he did last year in Boston over a full year. He's got 19 home runs. So Orlando Arcia is a great young shortstop.
They're young.
So I buy that. The pitching is what are they for real? Jimmy Nelson, I think, is a real guy at the top of that rotation. He's a young guy coming into his own. Chase Anderson's had a heck of a year. Zach Davies has had a heck of a year. Matt Garza's had a very nice year.
Right.
I do think they need another pitcher.
Okay.
If they really want to contend and win the NL division, NL Central division. But I think they're going to be in this until the end.
I agree with you.
I don't know if they'll win it, but I do think they'll be in this to the end because I think the rotation is coming along.
Yeah.
Maybe it's playing over its skis a little bit, but I don't think that lineup is.
I think August and September is big boy baseball. And when you start facing each other in the division like the Brewers will, and they have, obviously, but with the Cubs, Brewers, and Cardinals, Brewers down the stretch, that's where you're going to see a lot about Milwaukee and see a lot of things happen. So we'll kind of monitor that as we go. Count me in as a guy that's pretty excited, even with the Cardinals being under 500 right now, thanks to that division still having a shot. But count me in as a guy that's looking forward to the second half of baseball. All right, it's time to hit the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line. We welcome in Channel 3 Sports Director Brett Behrens. Brett, how are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
Somebody said something about high school football today, and I'm like, oh, my goodness. But, before we know it, Brett, that thing will be here.
Yeah, it's like a month away, guys. Not that far.
Got your first day of practice all set out and where you guys are going?
Maybe not quite that far yet because I'm on a long weekend this weekend. I'm up in Galena right now. So I'm a little far out of that. But, pretty soon here we're going to start making those preparations.
Well, you were just at the John Deere Classic, Brett. That's a great event every year.
No doubt.
It's even more Illini-filled this year. What'd you make of it?
Yeah, it was cool to see two current Illinois players. And I talked to Mike Small earlier this week when I interviewed him because he's had his own summer to remember. He's been all over the place from Oregon to Massachusetts, and then he qualified to play in the PGA. But he said this was the first time in program history that two current players are on a PGA Tour event at the same time. So that's pretty cool in itself to have that. And so I made the trek up there yesterday to see Dylan and Nick, and also Steve and DA and Brian Campbell, who they make up the 5 Illini current and former that are in the field. And Dylan and Nick outplayed Steve Stricker in DA points yesterday.
Unreal.
Which is kind of cool.
It is. And you see how comfortable these kids are. And it's what, listen, the pressure's not necessarily on them because they know they're coming back and they're not trying to make a living right now on the tour. And I'm sure that mentally makes a difference, Brett, but there is some pressure there of playing with the big boys, but the confidence in these kids and just how kind of calm they are and relaxed. That's the thing that stands out to me about Dylan and Nick.
Yeah. And they're both really cool, calm and relaxed cats, especially Dylan, who is funky, like that's his Twitter handle, right? The DJ D Funk or whatever it is.
Yep.
He's a very interesting cat. But Nick and Dylan, they're just very laid back approach guys, and I think that's why they do well on the golf course. They don't get too worked up. Lon, as Rich Aaron used to say, can't get too high, can't get too low. They're a big guy.
Amen, buddy.
But they both are very straightforward guys. They don't let the moment get too big for them. And we saw that in the NCAAs when they were down in the regional on the last day and came back and they just look at the task at hand and get the job done. And in golf especially, that plays out so well because you're going to have some bad holes. Heck, Nick yesterday, I think it was on the 13th hole, he took a double bogey. Off the tee, he slipped on his first shot, and it went about 70 yards into the weeds.
Ew.
Now, that sounds like something that, I would do
for sure
today. And shot I had a couple times today. We played the General up here, which is a great course up in Galena.
Yeah, I played that one. It wasn't pretty.
I lost about 6 balls today. That'd probably be about right.
I think I lost my whole sheet of balls. Yeah.
Jeremy's like, I'm done. I get to drink now. I'm done.
Yeah.
Great track, but that Nick just said yesterday, hey, I slipped off the tee. He only takes a double, so he limits his damage, and he still shoots even par yesterday. Now I just checked; I got some work to do today. If they're going to make the cut, it projected at 2 under right now, and both Dylan and Nick are at 1 under. But hey, Steve Stricker won the John Deere Classic 3 times. He knows that course better than anybody, and they went out yesterday and performed well. Nick said he was a little nervous, but not as nervous as he thought he would be. Remember, he's played in 2 U.S. Open.
Right.
Dylan did say he was a little nervous on that first tee because this was his first professional event. And what a cool time to play in your first sponsor exemption at the John Deere Classic.
Yeah, it's like you can't ask enough. Like, it's really impressive what Mike Small has done. I mean, we keep saying it, but you just see it year after year, and you get more and more examples of it. We heard from Brad Underwood earlier this week. Brett, what did you learn new? What stuck out to you the most?
He continues to amaze me just how cool, calm, and collected he is. And he's a radio TV major in college, so he gets us, and what we do every day. But, man, it's easy to have confidence in him, isn't it?
Yes.
For Illini fans?
Yes.
I think the more we get around him, the more I'm impressed with his vision, his plan, the sense of respect that he commands. Would you agree, Jeremy?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's real. I don't think there's a show out there. I think he's just being, for the most part, honest. Yeah. He might hold back a few things, but I think he's just real.
I agree. The thing I took away, so that's Brad Underwood. The thing I took away from the players, a couple of them look bigger. Tijon, to me, looks bigger. I don't know if you got that sense, Jeremy, or not, but, I mean, I was eye to eye with him, and I'm no more than 5'10", 5'11" last year. I mean, I was looking up to him. I told Aaron Jordan, I think you look like a man now, you know, and I was halfway joking, half not, but I'm thinking, dude, you look like a man, you know? And I say that in the nicest way possible. Kipper looks bigger. They just, and I'm not just talking muscular, I'm talking height-wise as well. And I think that's only going to benefit them. So that's what I took away from them. And then Brad added to that with the players, especially talking about Tijon. I mean, he could not gloat enough about Tijon Lucas and what that's going to mean to him and to the offense this year, especially when you have that floor leader, you know. And I think, at least for me, I forget last year that he had the ankle injury, you know, that he didn't practice all summer. And this is his first summer practicing collegiately and with a strength coach like Adam Fletcher. And, man, I think we're going to see the benefits of that this year.
Yeah, and I noticed, I mean, the freshman, Mark Smith's a big kid.
Yes.
You know, I think it's just that natural country strong that some kids have. But then Greggy Boyd-Bowden just kind of looks the part. Now, I don't know how good of a basketball player he is, but, I mean, we're really intrigued with the basketball since it's all so new. The roster's all so new. But we have football right around the corner as well, Brett. And it seems like, you know, there's a lot of interesting returners coming back. Chase Crouch, Mike Dudek, Dre Brown from injury, an interesting freshman class. But it doesn't seem like people are talking about it quite as much. Lovie Smith's second year, because Brad Underwood's kind of stealing all the headlines probably.
Yeah, I would agree. And somebody asked me the other day, are you more excited about football season or basketball season? I said, man, it's easy to look ahead to basketball season, isn't it? Because I think we just look at football and say, well, 3-9 sounds pretty good, doesn't it? You know, for Illini Nation.
Right.
Is that a bad spot to be in? Probably for Illini fans, but I think that's the reality, isn't it? I mean, if you told an Illini football fan right now that they were going to win four games this season, I think most would take it, right?
Yeah,
and I think they should. And I think I hope the expectations are there, and they know that this is a long rebuild, right? I hope people don't say, "Hey, they go 3-9 this year. This Lovie Smith thing isn't working."
Right.
No, I don't think that's fair, and I think most Illini fans that have a pretty level head would understand that, you know. Now, the thing today, especially, you know, seeing Virtus go somewhere else, where is that line, Jeremy? You know, I mean, where is that line where you say, okay, we got to start getting a couple of these guys? Is it 18? Is that too quick?
No.
Well, Ron Zook took 3 years to really get, I mean, he got Juice, which got people into it. And then it was year 3 when he got Regis and Martez Wilson, and really year 4 and 5 were his best recruiting classes. I think 18, I think there's a lot to prove still, and they got to do a lot out of state. I think 2019 is the big chance for a program-changing class, because that's when you've had 3 full years of recruiting these guys.
And hopefully even on the field, too, getting some wins.
Right. And I agree. And I think if you're losing guys like Virtus next year, it's going to hurt way more than 2018. That's my take on it.
That's a good point. No, that's a good point. I agree with that.
Brett, if we're sitting here this time next year and you're not getting a guy like Virtus, then I'm wondering, man, okay, what's not clicking there?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, and then I think even after 2018, Lovie should assess his staff and say, okay, we got a bunch of coaches, and that's good. We can coach these guys up.
Need that.
But we still need to get some of the best players in the country.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Brett Behrens is our guest, WCIA3 Sports Director. Follow him on Twitter, at WCIA3 Brett. Now, Brett, we're always looking for stories, especially in the TV world. Mikey Dudek coming back. Count me in as a guy that's super excited about this. I'm praying that the kid, just for him individually, just stays healthy, has a solid season. But do we kind of forget how good that kid was?
I think it's easy to forget because it's been a couple of years, but let me turn the question the other way. What's a realistic expectation for Mikey Dudek?
That's a good call. That's a good call.
Can you expect him to have 1,000 yards again? No, I don't know if that's fair to him or the program to put that on him.
Are they going to throw that much, too?
Right.
And that's the other question. I mean, look, it's a different quarterback than what he had the first time around. It's a different system. I'm trying to temper expectations for what you can throw on him. Now, I think Illini fans should be really excited about him coming back because now you add another weapon, especially with Malik, and it's a different style there. And, you know, you add in a Ricky Smalling, and now it's pretty exciting to think about what that could be. But, man, I don't know if it's fair to the kid to expect him to come out and be an All-American again.
I agree. Totally agree. Brett Barron,
so what's a realistic expectation? I mean, that's.
Well, if I said,
I don't know. That's going to be interesting to talk about.
Over under 40.5.
I would say over on that catches.
Right
there.
I think that's a good line.
Okay.
But too, because
Malik had 48 last year.
He's got to stay healthy.
Well, that's true. That's very true.
I'd probably go under because I just don't know if he's going to stay healthy.
All right, Brett Barons. I was down in Taylorville the other night for a baseball game, and I had some time before, and I flip on Facebook, and I start crying because you got me crying watching your story, man. Listen, that was incredibly well done. Unfortunately, that you were in that spot to where you did this story. But talk a little bit about what you decided to do. Why did you decide to do it? And a little bit about, because I'm sure there's some people out there that haven't watched it yet, but it is a must-see with talking about faith and really about you, Brett. I mean, you have become even more of a hero to me on how you've just kind of persevered and moved on from this. But kind of what was your idea with that story and kind of your hope and your goal with it?
Well, thank you. I appreciate you watching it and really anyone that's had a chance to watch it. I really appreciate that. So on June 13, 2006, I was catapulted in the air about 80 feet, and I broke quite a bit of bones in my body, shattered my ankles, shattered my back, and tore my aorta. And so I was in the hospital for 54 days, in a coma for 13 days. It was a terrible thing. I was just working a summer job making $10 an hour. Ugh. And one of those things you just never see yourself in. And so it happened. I made a choice, and my family made a choice right away to accept it and move on and rely on our faith to do that. And so through that, I started the road to recovery, continued to go to college, and had a long goal to be in television, and went to SIU and was able to graduate and then work my way up the ladder, and here I am today. That's the short story of that. But in that time, in the last couple of 3 years, I felt God working on me to say, you tell stories every single day for what you do at work. That's what I do as a television reporter. I tell feature stories. That's the biggest part of it. Yeah, we show highlights and, we cover the Illini and we go all these different places, and that's great. But the core of what we do and what we try to do is tell feature stories. And so, I said, I'm telling feature stories every single day at my work. But the story I haven't really told is my own. And in my eyes, one of the most important stories we can tell is our own story.
Yeah.
And so through that process of the last couple of years, and it's really taken that long, I've kind of examined myself and my story and wrote a lot of things down on my phone in my little notes section. Just when I had a thought pop into my head, I wrote it down, started to develop a script and some things that I wanted to say. Then we did some interviews, and those were about a year ago, last May maybe. Talked to my parents and my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time of the accident. We'd only been dating about 6 months when it happened. And, started to get some things more formal in that. I had about 45 minutes worth of interviews that I had to log, which took a long time, as you can imagine, Lon.
Sure.
But it was a long process, but at the end of the day, I felt very, very good about the end result. And so it was mainly for me and for my family to have that, a concrete thing that we'll always be able to have. But just as important in that, it was to share that with others and just say, look, God saved my life, and I'm really, really blessed to be alive. And in that, I feel like God kept me around for a reason. Part of that reason is to, do what I do every single day and work at Channel 3. And I feel like God put me in that place for a reason. But part of the other reason, too, is, I want to share my story with others and spread my message of faith. So, in a nutshell, there it is.
Yeah, right. And obviously that faith has come huge for you because if that happened to someone else like me or something, you could probably just bury yourself in a hole for a while. But you've obviously fought through it, and you do a heck of a job at WCIA 3.
Absolutely.
More importantly, you're a good husband, good father to your children. So.
And a Saluki.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a dog. Yeah. That's the most important. Come on, he's a dog.
Well, Brett, we appreciate it, man.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend. All right, we'll catch up with you soon.
All right,
Have fun
buddy.
in Galena.
Enjoy my favorite city ever, Galena, Illinois, man.
Every time I talk to somebody that's just up in Galena, thanks, Brett, they're just like, oh, you got to get to Galena.
It's the best.
It's the best thing ever.
I mean, I came back, what was that, like 2 summers ago or 3? I came back.
Stop talking about it.
I wouldn't. You'd think that I had just discovered, like, Ponce de Leon just discovered something. I'm like, oh, you guys got to get over to Galena. That place is beautiful, though. It's
for a town in farthest northwest Illinois. Yeah, it's got some stuff going for it.
It does. We are just used to, and I know most of us around here are able, God willing and thankfully, to get out and explore the United States or even explore your state a little bit. But for some of us that have grown up around flat, cornfield, beanfield, cornfield, beanfield. It's like, whoa, hey, we mixed it up there. Yeah. To go over there and see that, and you think, are we still in Illinois?
Yeah.
It's just really cool. And there's areas down in southern Illinois, same deal.
It's like when you get into Pennsylvania, you're like, oh, what are these? Hills?
Yeah, that's weird.
That's awesome.
I remember the first time I ever went to Palm Springs, California, and out of our window there where we stayed in this villa, my God. Can I get a hot towel, please? Right outside, I walk out into our little deck area, and there's this huge mountain, and I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
What is that thing? It's blocking the sun. I mean, it's just stuff like that it's really cool, and hopefully everybody gets a chance to explore the United States.
Brett shared a story with me a couple years ago, and I'm glad he shared it with the public because, I mean, you wouldn't even know that he doesn't have a leg.
2 years ago.
You wouldn't even know it, and he never makes excuses about it. And he doesn't, feel sorry for himself, whatever it is. He just, and that's obviously where his faith comes in.
I am one of those guys, Jeremy, that easily feels sorry for himself. It is a pathetic trait. It is a pathetic trait. And if I switched places with Brett, I don't know. Yeah. I honestly don't know, because I'm sure every day I would think to myself, well, this, I can't go play fast pitch softball now because of this stupid thing. It's stuff like that. And for him to kind of thrive with it and move on. And I told you a couple of years ago, Lucas and I went and golfed down here at Stone Creek, and Brett just happened to be in the group that was teeing off on one when we got up to I had no idea. He had shorts on that day. I had no idea that Brett had that had happened. So I think it's great, and he does a great job with Channel 3, and good for him, man. It's fun to be able to talk to Brett, and high school football's right around the corner. Please know.
If you want to weigh in, 359-2255, that's 217-359-2255. We'll talk some baseball to start next hour.
That'll work.
Steve Greenberg, Chicago Sun-Times, wrote a book, 101. It's basically a bucket list for college football fans.
So cool. I can't wait to talk to him about that and get kind of what would his top 10 or, well, that'd be too many. What's his top 3 bucket list? And now that he's written the book, where does he want to go? It is the Tay and J Show.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans, and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
From buyers and sellers inspections before the sale, protect your future with AA Marshall Home Inspection Services. We also provide radon testing with results back in 48 hours. From Champaign to Savoy and Gifford to Gibson City, protect your future with AA Marshall Home Inspection Services. Get more details and schedule your inspection today at aamarshall.net.
Are you ready to get active and involved in a good cause? Our friends at the St. Joseph Ogden 5K event invite runners and walkers to come out to downtown St. Joseph on July 29th at 7:30 a.m. for this amazing community event, helping the St. Joseph Ogden High School and Middle School cross country and track teams. If you would like to participate in our event, you can visit our website at sjo5k.com. Again, it's Saturday, July 29th, beginning at 7:30 a.m., and the website is sjo5k.com.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Ask the Expert with Stevie J Broadcasting. If you're looking to refurbish your house, our friends at Country Arbors Nursery and Kramer Siding and Windows will have your house the envy of the block. And while you're at it, tweak the inside with flooring surfaces and Lance Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Support our U of I community at the U of I Community Credit Union. Then make sure you're looking good with clothing from Game Day Spirit and a beautiful smile from West Main Dental. Ask an expert. Visit StevieJay.com.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
All right. right, we're going to talk Cubbies, White Sox trade. Joe Sheehan's take on that. I can't wait to read this or hear about this at 4:05. Steve Greenberg next hour from Chicago Sun-Times just wrote a book. If you are a college football fan, you're going to want to hear this interview and probably buy the book, I assume.
Yeah.
Some really cool stuff. Go ahead.
The Red Sox designated for assignment Pablo Sandoval. They will now eat $50 million of that contract.
Holy cow. Think about like the Alan Craig
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, Johnny Peralta. Yeah, the Red Sox have had some bad contracts. Craig was one of them.
Craig.
Rusney Castillo, the Cuban.
Oh, that's right.
Who's a complete bust.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is bad. Andrew Tay just walked in, and I thought that triggered my mind. I'm just going to get it out of the way here.
Yeah.
About why I almost got kicked out of a baseball game the other day. So Andrew played on this.
What the heck did you do? Were you yelling at umps?
I was not yelling at umps. I was not yelling because
Were you cursing?
Nope. I was not. I will not do that. I do yell at Andrew.
Did you run out of the field?
I did not run
out of the field. Like us White Sox fans like to do?
Right. So I always sit in the outfield. I've told you this because then I can talk about Andrew all day and it goes about 10 feet and drops off and he doesn't hear all the stuff I say about him.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he's a pretty good little player, but there's things where I'm like, really?
He's got like a 20 strikeout per 9 right now.
Right. That came down a little bit in these games here. So I'm out in right field and they put Andrew in at catcher. And we're playing a Champaign West team. Great guys, great fans. The coaches are all awesome guys. So I'm out in right field, and Andrew's catching. So he can look right at me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to this is like, an all-star tournament, and the season's almost done. And even he is like, man, I'm ready kind of for summer to start. And so I'm out there, and he does a pretty good job catching, right? And I'm making these little signals at him. Like at one point, there was a guy at
cheating?
first. I wasn't cheating. No, not like that, because we've never even talked about it.
Because that could have gotten you kicked out.
That could have gotten me kicked out, but I don't think Andrew would even know what signal I'm giving him. So there was a kid that was leading off first after the pitch. You can't leave till the pitch comes across the plate. So the kid jumped off about 8 feet. Andrew's got a pretty good little arm, and I'm like, throw him out. Throw down to first, Yachty. Let's see what you got. So I'm out in the outfield, and I'm just raising my hands, kind of like what are you doing? Kind of that. But I'm looking at him. I'm looking at Andrew. So then I do it again. He finally throws down, and then I'm doing these goofy, faces, and I'm making all these. And all of a sudden, right in the middle of the inning, the umpire just goes, hey, you in right field, zip it, knock it off. Now, I hadn't said anything, so I'm not sure he was saying zip it. And he goes, that's enough. Last warning. And I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
Like, I just about got kicked out of a 9 and 10-year-old game. So Lon shut up.
Mr. Umpire takes his job very seriously.
Well, and he was a great umpire.
Yeah.
At one point, he warmed up our pitcher between innings. Instead of going to get something to drink, he grabbed the glove and just warmed up our pitcher.
It's hard to find good umpires, right?
Absolutely. This kid was awesome. He's a younger kid. But I think when he saw me putting my hands up like that, I think he thought I was questioning the strike zone. But I was just doing that for Andrew. So I almost got booted out. So after the game, I'm walking by the Champaign fans, and I'm like, man, I about got tossed. They're like, what'd you do? What'd you say? We didn't hear you. I'm like, I was making fun of my son.
Did you think of going up to the ump after the game?
I tried, but he had already left, so I went up to a guy that runs the district tournament down in Taylorville. I'm like, hey, can you tell your buddy that was my son catching, and I was just making goofy things at him? He goes, it's no big deal, man. And I'm like, no, it is a big deal. I do not want to be known as that guy.
So were you just trying to get Andrew
I was just
to calm
trying to
down?
have fun. I mean, you know me.
No.
I'm just not calm down. I'm trying to get him to show some spirit. He's so stinking, normal back there. I'm like, come on, man, have some fun. Fire down to first. So, yeah,
just trying to pump up your son a little bit, and Mr. Umpire almost threw you out.
So I promise I'm not that guy. Like I wasn't yelling at the umpires or.
Was there that guy at the tournament?
No. The crowd was great. In fact, I was the idiot.
Because you guys are the worst. I'm just gonna say that you guys are the worst.
We are.
I'm not saying you.
I know
the guy who yells at umpires and yells at kids.
Yeah.
Worst.
No, I agree.
Worst.
And don't make fun of your kid if you're in the outfield because the umpire sees that.
Absolute worst.
Horrible. Steve Greenberg, next hour. Lon Tay, becoming an adult.
You're terrible.
Tay and J.
You stink. You're the worst.
DP Dough is the original calzone company, and they cater all types and sizes of events, from office orders to private parties to entire visiting football teams. Everyone will be sure to enjoy something different than the same old sandwiches or pizza. DP Dough also delivers to nearly all of Champaign, Urbana, and Savoy until late at night. So give them a call or order online when you're hungry and no one else is delivering. With over 1 million calzones served since opening in 2006, DP Dough is sure to satisfy and fill you up. DP Dough, the original calzone Zone Company.
There's never been a better time to stop smoking and switch to vaping, to save money you're spending on cigarettes, to experience new flavors, new selection, and new savings. There's never been a better time to stop in and see the difference at Vapors E-Cigs LLC. Vapors E-Cigs has the most knowledgeable and caring staff, inviting atmosphere, along with the best prices on juice and hardware. They also have an amazing reward system to help you earn savings along the way, including discounts on juices, coils, and even 70% off a kit. Now's definitely the time to stop by Vapors E-Cigs LLC.
Going on 5 years, Rock's Place in St. Joseph has become the neighborhood sports bar and grill for a lot of folks in the area. Rock's Place is known for their delicious burgers, and they also have great daily food and drink specials. Plus, Rock's has plenty of TVs, so you can keep tabs on the Cubs and Cardinals all summer long. And while you're there, press your luck on one of Melody Music's video gaming machines. For delicious food, cold drinks, and good company, make it Rock's Place, 101 North Main Street in St. Joseph. Find them on Facebook, ROCHS in St. Joseph.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Legal battle over changes ordered yesterday by a federal judge. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has this live.
Lisa, the travel ban was introduced this year, then revised, and all the while challenged in court. The Supreme Court finally weighed in, and parts of the ban were implemented. Visa holders from 6 mostly Muslim countries have to have a close relative here in order to come. But Hawaii federal judge Derek Watson, who had earlier struck down the revised travel ban, says that should include grandparents and more extended relatives. Iowa Republican Congressman Steve King strongly disagrees.
The president has the authority to lock anybody out of America if he chooses. And these decisions are not made on the law. They're made on the personal opinion of Judge Watson.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions accused Watson of undermining national security and said he's taking the case back to the Supreme Court, Lisa.
Jessica, the latest plan to replace Obamacare just one vote away from being DOA in the Senate. But Vice President Mike Pence telling the National Governors Association
President Donald Trump is going to lead this Congress to rescue the American people from the collapsing policies of Obamacare.
Ohio Republican Governor John Kasich tweeting earlier today the new plan is still unacceptable because of Medicaid cuts. Homicide charges filed in Pennsylvania after the bodies of 4 missing men were found.
I feel a lot of sadness. I feel relief.
Bucks County DA Matt Weintraub says one confessed killer, a prep school grad turned drug dealer with a history of mental illness, led police to the remains on his family's farm and implicated a cousin who's charged in 3 of the deaths. A third record day in a row on Wall Street. The Dow up 84 to 21,637. The S&P also with a record high. On the Fox Reports, fair and balanced.
Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. Whether you're at home, your business, or online, ADT helps keep you safe. With security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home, wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling. ADT, home, safe home.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 4242 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 4242.
One of the world's most sacred religious sites temporarily off limits after a terror attack.
It happened just after 7 this morning when police say 3 Arab Israeli men opened fire on Israeli police that were posted at the Lions Gate entrance into the Old City and the Temple Mount. Now, the attackers ran into the Temple Mount where a gunfight ensued.
Fox's John Huddy in Jerusalem. All 3 attackers were ultimately killed. 2 police officers wounded later died. At least 11 homes evacuated in Land O'Lakes, Florida, north of Tampa, where a sinkhole has swallowed most of 2 houses.
We do not know when it'll stop. We have no estimation. This is Mother Nature. And when Mother Nature decides to stop moving, then it'll stop moving.
Local emergency manager Kevin Guthrie says for now it's at least 250 feet wide and 50 feet deep. One Florida school district is banning homework for all elementary school students.
The school superintendent in Marion County, Florida, that's Ocala and the surrounding area, has decreed no student from kindergarten to 5th grade will do homework this coming school year. The superintendent, Heidi Mayer, says new studies show young children don't benefit from homework as they don't retain any more information just by hitting the books in the evening. She did, however, ask all parents to read with their young kids 20 minutes each night. Eben Brown, Fox News.
It could be a throwback weekend at Wimbledon.
Nets with a forehand return. Federer puts both hands into the air.
From Wimbledon Radio, Roger Federer will play for a record 8th title in England Sunday after beating Tomasz Berdych to face first-time finalist Marin Cilic. Venus Williams plays tomorrow for the women's crown. It's been 10 years since the last time she and Federer both won at Wimbledon. In New York, I'm Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
Yeah, pipe dream, huh?
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long. Call 866-EXPERTS or you can visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight's clear, a low of 58. Tomorrow mostly sunny, high 83, low 64. Chance of thunderstorms Sunday afternoon, high 84, a low of 58. Right now, sunny, clear, 81 in Champaign-Urbana.
Let's clap. All right. Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Jeremy Warner, Lon Tay. We got you covered until about, 5:10? Do we even know when we're off?
Yeah, 5:10.
5:10 today.
I do.
So,
apparently you do not.
I know it's a 6:05 game, I think, right, in Pittsburgh. So
some bad news for the White Sox, and this is why you get many, many players in a rebuild.
Yes.
Zach Birdie, likely Tommy John surgery.
Ooh.
He was the relief pitcher they drafted with their supplemental pick last year. High velocity guy. When you're that, you're most likely going to have Tommy John at some point in your career.
You might as well get it over with.
Yeah. So he's not going to be here through the rest of the year in 2018. 2019, 2020, that's when we need you,
I feel like you're Austin Powers going, it's all working out. like I don't know if you ever
get
did
the Tommy Johns out of the way the next couple years so we can get a higher draft pick.
I love this.
Kopech, if you're going to get hurt,
do it
get hurt now.
Do it now.
Dylan Cease, you're going to get hurt. I guess he already had his Tommy John.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say.
Got that out of the way.
And I swear with Tommy John, they come back stronger. So I think now, pretty soon, in about 10 years, baseball is going to outlaw Tommy John surgery because they're going to figure out that kids are just coming back stronger.
Would rather have that elbow injury than a shoulder injury.
No doubt. Ask Michael Walker
Yeah.
that question. All right, yesterday I asked you off the air because here we are, and I'm trying to be normal fan. It's easy for you, Jeremy, to look at this because, when the Cardinals had this great farm system, in my mind, I was easily able to say, all right, that guy's our future left fielder. That guy's going to play second. This guy's going to be a center fielder, yada, et cetera, et cetera. With the White Sox, since it's not my favorite team, or the Cubs or whomever, minus the Cardinals, it's hard for me to kind of organize it. Yeah. So in my mind, I keep hearing about all these recruits, prospects you're getting, and that's cool. I understand now you have 9 of the top 100 prospects in baseball, but what does it mean in terms of an actual team?
Yeah.
I mean, do you have 7 of the 9 are just right fielders? I mean, I assume to not, but I asked you this, can you kind of break it down a little bit on what exactly, in other words, what will your team look like in 3 years?
I'm going to go with the 2019 roster.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'll go with this. Catcher, they want Zach Collins to be that.
Okay.
Most evaluators don't think he'll be a catcher, but if his bat is good enough, maybe he can be.
Got it.
I got him slotted as DH.
Okay, and he came from?
He was a first-round draft pick.
Oh, he was, okay, I'm
sorry.
he was
first-round
not
draft
one of
pick
these, okay.
in 2016.
Got it.
Jose Abreu's here through 2020. They could trade him at some point, but I think they'll keep him.
I'd be fine with him.
Yohan Moncada at second base.
Okay.
Jake Berger, their first-round draft pick this year at third base.
Wow.
He's a college player, so he shouldn't be that long in the minors. Tim Anderson, shortstop.
Yep.
Locked him up to a long-term deal. Eloy Jimenez, and it's Eloy Jimenez.
Oh, it's not Eloy.
Not Eloy.
Okay, I think we all said that wrong.
So the Sox corrected us today. It's Eloy Jimenez.
Okay.
In left, Luis Robert.
Oh, yeah.
In center field. Right field, I guess Avi Garcia.
Yeah?
I mean,
why not?
He's an all-star,
yes.
right? I have a catcher. CSN Chicago just did a mock-up, a dream of 2020, and they had Manny Machado at third base.
Oh.
I don't think the White Sox are going to get him.
I don't either.
I think the Yankees, the Nationals, those big market teams
I mean,
will.
you'll have some money to spend.
Here's a guy I like for that year because they'll be ready to win.
Yep.
And one position that they have not been able to fix for a long time.
You've never had one since we started doing the show.
Catcher.
Yes. A.J. Pierzynski was the best guy.
The best catchers.
And he was good.
Yeah. I mean, him and Carlton Fisk are the guys for the White Sox.
Yep.
Yasmani Grandal is a free agent after the 2018 season. He'll be 30 then. And he's a really good hitter and a really good catcher. I think he's already about a 2.5 wins above replacement right now. He's going to be expensive, but that's a kind of target that I think the White Sox can get, filling a need that they really have.
I like that because you're going to have young pitchers.
Yeah.
You want to have an experienced catcher. I would not be afraid to put a guy behind there that maybe doesn't sparkle offensively, although he's fine.
He can hit 20 bombs.
Obviously. But I would want a guy, in a Yachty mold almost, that can go out there and you just, from all the experts, say this guy's doing a great job with his pitching staff.
So it might not be Harper. It might not be Machado. I don't think the White Sox are going to do that because I don't think they're going to spend 30% of their salary pool on one player.
I think that's fair.
Grandal could be a 4-year, $20 million per year guy, and I think he could be worth it. Starting pitcher, your ace, Carlos Rodon.
Yep, that's my guy.
Michael Kopech.
Okay.
I have Giolito there. That's a complete wild card, though.
Okay.
I think he's going to be either good or he's going to be not in the majors.
Okay.
So that's what I think with Giolito. Spencer Adams and Dane Dunning as my 4 and 5 guys. Not top prospects, but they kind of project as, the back end of the rotation guys. Then I think the White Sox could have one of the best bullpens in baseball. Zach Birdie, apparently going to be back in 2019.
He'll be throwing 200 miles an hour after Tommy John.
Ronaldo Lopez throws 100.
Wow.
Carson Fulmer throws about 97, 98. Alec Hansen, who could be a starter as well, and Dylan Cease, who throws 100.
Holy cow.
I think at the end of the day, the White Sox, their rotation, they might need to add more.
Okay.
But I think they're going to have one of the best bullpens in baseball.
This is going to be fun to kind of grow
in today's
with this
day
team.
and age is
Absolutely.
Really
well, right. And we've seen this shift in the last few years. I mean, even the Cardinals started kind of doing that in 11 with Mott, who threw hard, Rosenthal threw hard. You started to realize that when you get into October, especially in the Midwest, and the temperatures get a little chillier, you don't want to be gripping a bat, man.
Yeah.
And if you've got a guy sawing you off at 100 miles an hour, you've got the advantage.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see them do that.
So a friend of the Tay and J Show, and I love his newsletter, Joe Sheehan, broke down the Cubs-White Sox trade today in his newsletter, which I recommend everyone subscribe to. If you're a big-time baseball fan, he's one of the best writers out there. One of the best analysts out there.
Or have Jeremy as a really good friend, and then he sets you up.
Hey, I got you a gift subscription.
You did. I showed up one day and it comes in my spam all the time.
Oh, does it?
But it doesn't matter because I go through my spam every day to make sure, because there's some that creep through, from companies every day. Boom, Joe Sheehan newsletter, and that's the first thing I do when I get to work.
Well, here's what his take on the Cubs and White Sox end of the deal is. He starts with the Cubs. Even if you're one of the few people who buys in completely to my position that the Cubs rotation is taking too much of the blame for this year's team's struggles, you can see where they still needed a starting pitcher. The number 5 spot has been a mess all year, and the team has had to deal with injuries to Kyle Hendricks and John Lackey. You can argue that Quintana, coming over from the tougher league, actually becomes the Cubs' number 1 starter, and on merit, he's no worse than their number 2. In a postseason series, the Cubs now run out Quintana and John Lester up top, Jake Arrieta in the 3 slot, and probably Hendricks number 4, with Lackey relegated to long relief. That's a big October upgrade, especially if the Cubs' path to the World Series goes through the lefty-heavy Dodgers. It won't quite work out this cleanly, but replacing Eddie Butler with Quintana projects to make the Cubs about 2 wins better over the final 70 games. I think that's conservative. For one, Zips projects Quintana as a 3.89 ERA over the rest of the season, and I think he can be better than that.
Okay.
The first 2 months of Quintana's 2017 season were maybe the worst of his career, with an uptick in walk rate and an unusually high 205 ISO power allowed. Since a disaster start May 20th against the Red Sox, Quintana has a 2.7 ERA in 7 starts, and his ISO allowed is back down to 120. The walk rate remains high, though, and is one change in his profile that seems real. Still, I can see Quintana at a 3.23 ERA that he was from 2014 to 16. That performance would make this trade worth closer to 3 wins over the rest of the season.
Wow.
There are also knock-on effects from getting more innings from his rotation spot, being able to leave Mike Montgomery in the bullpen where he belongs. This trade is more about the 2017 pennant race, however. Quintana, who is a salvageable job for the White Sox after the New York teams had let him go, is signed to a remarkably team-friendly contract. The contract then has team options for 19 and 20. By trading for Quintana, they solve what was shaping up to be a difficult problem in a way that leaves them plenty of payroll room to add one more starting pitcher. Like the Rangers' acquisition of Cole Hamels 2 years ago, this is a trade that has as much, maybe more importance to the team's future as to its present. Quintana's talent and performance history made him an attractive pitcher. His contract is what made him worth Eloy Jimenez. It wasn't inconceivable that the Cubs would deal Jimenez, the 2016 Futures Game star who is a top 10 prospect in baseball. It would only happen for someone like Quintana. However, someone who would fill a hole for years to come. Quintana's asset value is such that he also costs Dylan Cease, a 2015 draftee who's been moving slowly through the lower levels of the Cubs system. He's number 83 on Baseball America's midseason top 100 list and is a long way from the majors. The Cubs very clearly define their window now. Okay. By trading what are presently two of the top 5 prospects in baseball, Jimenez yesterday, Gleyber Torres a year ago, they have gone all in with the current core. That includes, for better or for worse, Kyle Schwarber, who for the second straight July has been retained rather than being traded for pitching. There are baseball reasons for this. Schwarber's rehabbing a knee injury a year ago. He's carrying a 694 OPS today. But by trading Jimenez, the Cubs reaffirm their commitment to Kyle Schwarber as their everyday left fielder. That might work out. Schwarber's hitting 286, 375, 643 slash line in 4 games since his return to the majors. But by trading Jimenez, the Cubs are now strapped to Schwarber. They need him to hit. While the Cubs will continue to grind the draft and dig for talent internationally and work to make their remaining prospects better, the front office has made it clear they're determined to win as many championships as possible with Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo core, no hedging. They have cashed in an enormous amount of future value to do so. It worked last year, with Aroldis Chapman helping the team win a World Series.
No doubt.
The trade makes clear that the organizational priority isn't, as Theo Epstein once said in Boston, to build a $100 million development machine, but rather to win the World Series as many times as possible with this group of players. The next wave, the next core has been sent off. It's about 2016 to 2020 for Epstein and Jed Hoyer. It's possible to disagree with the individual moves, and it's possible to disagree with the strategy as a whole, but you have to concede that this is a total commitment to the current team.
And if I'm a Cubs fan, I love that.
Because you spent 108 years struggling to do otherwise.
Now get selfish.
Yes.
Now get selfish.
Go all in.
You won your World Series. That's fantastic.
This isn't about prospecting. This isn't about what are we going to be in 2022.
Get selfish.
Win the pennants. Go to the World Series again.
You've got an unbelievable talent and leader at first base in Anthony Rizzo. You've got a crazy, ridiculous talent at third base at Chris Bryant. You've got Baez and Russell that, yes, they're a little up and down, and we're seeing that, but they're so young still that when these kids finally kind of reach their peak and they're on your team, you've got a kid, Ian Happ, that could be Kyle Schwarber, I guess, in the outfield if you needed. Although they need to figure out what they're going to do with him. There's no doubt, but he's for sure a kid that can play in the majors. If Jason Hayward goes away, then you got Ian Happ.
I don't think Hayward's going.
I don't either. I mean, you've traded Soler, you've traded Jimenez now, and again, like that article said, they're not going to trade Eloy Jimenez for Johnny Cueto for a 1 year, one half of a season fix. They wanted Quintana because now you're set up offensively and in the infield, right, with that. Now you're starting to set yourself up pitching-wise, and if the Cubs get that figured out, that's really the only blemish with Theo right now is this pitching.
Like the rumors are, they're going after Sonny Gray still. And I don't know if that's just to get Milwaukee's offer up there to have to give up more. But I don't think it is. I think they want to be this is our team through 2020.
And they can afford it.
Yeah.
If they've got what it takes to get Sonny Gray.
If you trade Candelario, some of the other prospects, Caratini that you have down there, you're emptying that farm system where you're going to be a bottom 5 farm system. But you know what your major league roster is going to be?
Exactly.
Top 2 or 3.
Exactly.
Right? And that's what matters.
And you have to trust Hoyer and Theo that they can slowly rebuild that farm system.
Well, you know what Hoyer's thinking? Hoyer's going to be gone by 2020.
Well, heck yes.
Theo Epstein's going to move on to a different job by 2020.
Yes, he is. He's going to go take care of somebody else and fix that problem.
Theo said every 10 years you make a move.
Yep.
Right? He did that with Boston. He was there, almost a decade. And after that, you got to move on to something else.
Yep.
He's got something else to do.
I do. Yeah, San Diego.
For these guys, they've won the one World Series. They want to be known for multiple World Series.
I love
with the Chicago Cubs.
I love it.
I want to get to a little bit of the White Sox.
And if Theo Epstein, by the way, can go to San Diego, now that's just me bringing that up.
I wonder if he goes to a different sport.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I wonder if he goes to a different sport.
Because I don't know if anybody can really salvage San Diego. Right? Although you could go live in...
They're going to be set up in 2020.
No doubt. See, I could see Theo doing it, living in 75-degree weather.
They go to the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, my goodness.
If
he can do that, then he walks on water.
Here's Joe Sheehan on the White Sox. After Rick Hahn traded Sale and Eaton last winter, finally launching the White Sox into a long-needed rebuild, it was presumed he would send Quintana on his way as well. After all, the left-hander had almost matched Sale's value over the previous 3 seasons, and he was also on a very team-friendly contract. Hahn waited. While trading Quintana was the natural next step in the process, he also knew he had time on his side, with Quintana controllable, and it would be hard to argue that Hahn played this any less than perfectly. As he did when he traded Sale, he acquired both a top 5 prospect in the game and a second prospect who reportedly hit 101 miles an hour last year, 2 players who immediately elevate the White Sox farm system. The Sox now have 2 of the top 5 prospects in baseball in Jimenez and Moncada. Kopech, the second prospect in the Sale trade, is a top 20 guy. The top 2 pitchers acquired for Eaton, Giolito and Lopez, are top 50 guys. Throw in the signing of Cuban star Luis Robert, and the White Sox have acquired 6 top 50 prospects in the last 8 months. From the start of 2016, the White Sox have turned a bottom 10 farm system into a top 5 one. Jimenez is the big get here. You probably heard about him a year ago when he doubled, homered, and made a great catch in the Futures game. At 19, he hit 329, 369, 532 in the Midwest League. Dylan Cease is the second man, a righty who has pitched his way from the 6th round to the top 100. He's hung good numbers, including a 2.79 ERA. Cubs use Cease as a starter. The Sox will as well, but it wouldn't be a surprise to see him end up as a power reliever down the road. The Sox are going to have top 10 picks in the next couple drafts.
Wow.
They have to start hitting on those, and not at the level of Rodon and Anderson. They have to find their own Chris Bryant, George Springer, Corey Seager on draft day to fill out what could end up being a dominant team in the first half of next decade.
This is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Not necessarily for a St. Louis Cardinals fan, so I'm not coming from that angle. I get that, Cardinals fans. We don't want to see the Cubs being good, and I don't think we really care about the Sox, obviously, in terms of we won't be mad if they're good.
Yeah.
But this is going to be fun to watch a major city like Chicago have 2 baseball teams that are good.
Let me get one more paragraph he wrote. It's right to be excited about the White Sox future. A core of Moncada, Jimenez, Kopech, Rodon, and Tim Anderson is one you can dream on, one you can see piled up on the mound on a cool October night. The Sox, previously with Jose Abreu, now with Luis Robert, have shown a willingness to spend money where permitted. Hahn has converted his 3 top assets into tremendous value, inspiring confidence in his abilities. He still has some chips with which to play, from Abreu to Robertson to Todd Frazier.
Sure.
Nothing he has left will bring a rated prospect, although Hahn may just be waiting for the Nationals' next blown save to maximize his return for Robertson. But collectively, Hahn can build depth behind the top 6, players who can support the core or be traded for support pieces down the line. If you're a White Sox fan, you have to be happy with Hahn at the helm right now, given what he's done since the end of last season.
Tim Anderson is not a Hahn guy, right?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, he was. Okay.
Yeah, they drafted him.
I was going to ask you how. We don't really know yet. It's kind of NA, right? Not applicable in terms of knowing how Hahn has done drafting.
Well, they haven't done a very good job drafting until the last couple years.
Okay.
They've changed their philosophy.
Got it.
Instead of going with the athletes that Kenny Anderson always did, or Ken Anderson.
He
Kenny
used to play
Williams,
for the Georgia Tech Bulldogs.
Ken Williams drafted.
Yellow Jackets.
They're drafting good baseball players.
Yes.
Now. High OBP, power guys,
Got it.
skill set for baseball, not athletes. So they've changed that a lot. They've done really well drafting pitchers.
Yeah.
They haven't done a good job drafting position players.
They've picked a lane, and right now they're going about 80 miles an hour in that lane.
It's hard to, I mean, they picked the lane, and since they've done that over the last year and a half, last year since they've done that, you can't ask for much more than what they've done.
That's what I mean. They're speeding right now. They deserve a ticket. Really. I mean, it's fun. It's going to be fun to be able to visit about. It's not fun when the Cubs were the worst team in baseball and the White Sox were one of the worst teams in baseball.
But it was the plan.
It was the plan. But that was not fun for you and I to sit here and visit about. Now you have 2 teams. The Cubs are on, well, we think on the right track. We don't hope. Well, Austin does. The White Sox, are on the right path. The Cardinals, they still always have depth, and they'll figure something out. We could have 3 really fun teams to talk about in the future.
They're different rebuild. I mean, the Cubs tore it completely to the ground.
Yep.
They didn't have anything really to trade either, right? So they had to be terrible for 4 or 5 years to get those draft picks, to get Bryant, to trade, for Anthony Rizzo was a big coup for them. But they had to be that bad. The Astros had to get the number 1 draft pick multiple years in a row, right, to get to where they are. The White Sox had 3 unbelievable assets.
Yep.
And that gets them to a rebuild a lot quicker.
Yes.
So they're a lot farther in that process, but it's still going to take 2 or 3 or 4 more years to get to where the Cubs were in 2015, 2016.
Still some patience. And the Cardinals, listen, I know a lot of you young kids don't believe this, but they really did have some down years in the 90s.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been all hunky-dory.
The Cardinals isn't a full rebuild. It's a retooling.
That's what they do every year.
You're still competing, but you're probably not. This isn't where you go all in.
Right.
This isn't the year you go all in. Next year's probably not the year you go all in, but this is a huge offseason ahead. And Mozeliak, I know Cardinals fans are like, what's Mozeliak going to do?
Yeah.
It's not about reacting to the Cubs.
No.
His next move is his career-defining move.
I agree.
You have one huge need, right?
That's a bat in the middle of that order.
Otherwise, the Cardinals, I like the roster setup.
I do too.
They just need the one guy in the middle of that lineup, and he's got to get it right.
I agree.
I don't think he's got to make it now. He could, but you're not in for the 2017 season.
No.
But it's got to happen.
It does.
You got to make that move for a big bat, whether it's J.D. Martinez as a free agent or trading for Giancarlo Stanton or trading for somebody like Josh Donaldson.
And you're a year and a half away, right? Or no, you're 2 years away. Are you 2 or a year and a half away from Harper? They're not going to get Harper.
You got a year and a half of baseball left until they.
So you can't wait that long. You can't sit back and say, all right, we're going to wait and get Manny Machado to range at third. No, I don't either. So you can't wait for that. So something has got to be done. It's either at the trade deadline soon or in the offseason. And I don't think – the one thing I have respect with Mo, yes, I want to win. Yes, I want the Cardinals to be really good every year. But I respect the fact that he doesn't just blow it up because the fans are insisting that he do that.
Yeah.
I think I have a lot of confidence in Mo and now Gersh to make the right decision and say, all right, if things work out correctly, this is what we need and this is what we're going to go do. And I have confidence that they'll go and do it. Now, I'll be excited when it happens. I'll be excited to feel the feeling you had and Austin had when that trade happened.
But if it doesn't happen at the deadline,
I'm not going to panic. No, I'm not.
Because it's not about this year.
That's correct.
It's about, for me, I think the year they're going to be really good is 2019.
I agree with you. Because the pitching, Reyes will be back. They'll have some Flaherty maybe.
Flaherty and Weaver will be major leaguers, right?
Carlos Martinez will be sailing along. Maybe Walker will be healed by then. Who knows?
I wouldn't.
No.
Go with that.
I probably wouldn't either.
But
and Carson Kelly will be hitting bombs.
You have Kelly coming up, Delvin Perez, but those guys are so far down the line, the position players.
It is amazing what they've still been able to do, bringing up guys like DeYoung and some of these guys that just Tommy Pham. They just come in and they just play, and they play at a high level.
Tommy Pham's a nice little
player.
He
really is. All right, 359-2255. Great stuff. Joe Sheehan's the good. He joins us on our show a lot, and we love when he does. When we return, Steve Greenberg, Chicago Sun-Times. You've heard him. We've talked to Steve quite a bit regarding college football, the Big Ten in general, Illinois. He has written a book about college football, and we're going to get to the bottom of it when we return. It is the Tay and J Show.
An ESPN Radio Mike and Mike Extra Point.
Second half of the MLB season opens with Aaron Judge and the Yankees visiting Boston in a 4-game set that culminates on Sunday Night Baseball. Judge is averaging a home run every other game against AL East opponents, and 40 of the Yankees' final 76 games are against divisional opponents. When you look at Aaron Judge, could he play D-end?
D-end, tight end. You talk about a guy that's bigger than Gronkowski, and the fact that he's able to get down and you talk about his strike zone, his ability to hit the long ball, and what he did during the home run derby was amazing. I think it brings in the casual fan. It's exciting. I think the city of New York is excited. Post Jeter era, he does everything the right way. He's electric. But yet he's still kind at the same time.
Very humble.
Humble. You got to appreciate that. But yeah, he absolutely could play D-end.
Hear more from Mike and Mike Monday morning on ESPN Radio.
Here's the scoop on garden soil. Sometimes it needs help from the Home Depot, where bags of Miracle Grow garden soil are a special buy, 3 for just $10. It improves existing soil with nutrients plants need for stronger roots, so they'll hit the ground running, starting with much better ground. Miracle Grow garden soil, 3 bags, $10. Now at the #1 retailer for Scott's Miracle Grow, the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. valid through August 2nd while supplies last. Contiguous U.S. only. Limit 80 per customer.
New at O'Reilly Auto Parts, pick up a bottle of Lucas Complete Engine Treatment for only $7.99 and keep your engine in peak condition. Increase oil life, eliminate dry starts, save gas, and reduce wear with the new Lucas Complete Engine Treatment, now $7.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. The same people you trust after a fire or water disaster will also keep your house clean year-round. That's because the specialists at ServPro of Champaign-Urbana and South Champaign County are trained in every category of cleaning, from mold remediation to the cleaning of carpets, upholstery, air ducts, and crawl spaces. They're here to help protect every square foot of your most valuable possessions. ServPro of Champaign-Urbana and South Champaign County, or visit them at servproofchampaignUrbana.com. That's the bright green cleanup team at ServPro of Champaign-Urbana and South Champaign County. Franchises are independently owned and operated.
Why drive to Key West when you can enjoy the new Tiki Bar and Patio at Daly's Sports Bar, 116 West Washington Street in Philo. With 9 flat-screen TVs and the MLB package, you can take in your favorite team's action live. Daily drink specials Wednesday through Friday evening from 5 to 9 p.m. Enjoy the Daly's Outback Food Wagon on the patio featuring special burgers, sandwiches, shrimp baskets, fried and grilled cod, nachos, tacos, and cheesy fries. Now through August 25th, enter to win a trip to Las Vegas with $100 cash drawings every Friday. There's no purchase necessary to enter and win. Co-sponsored by XL Entertainment, Illinois' most chosen terminal operator. Play slots and win some cash at Daly's, featuring the latest and hottest slots. Come in and play slots, have a blast, some great food and drinks, and hit the jackpot. Be sure and enter for your chance to go to Vegas now through August 25th with $100 cash drawings every Friday at Daily Sports Bar, 116 West Washington in the heart of Philo. Must be 21 or older to play slots. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Home is where the art is. It's where every day begins and ends. It's a place for big occasions and small. Home is where stories unfold and where they are told. We may leave, but we always come home again. First Financial Bank can help you achieve the home of your dreams. Talk with one of our friendly loan officers and we'll help you find the loan that's right for you. Consider it our way of saying welcome home. From First Financial Bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Flooring Surfaces Factory Outlet is the premier source for discount flooring in Central Illinois. Dozens of Mill Direct carpet rolls are in stock now. You can take home a new carpet today or use our professional installation service and we'll measure for free. And check out the Deal Zone, where porcelain tile is just 49 cents. Hardwood, laminate carpet, or vinyl, you'll find great discounts at Flooring Surfaces Factory Outlet, 1703 North Dunlap in Savoy.
Flooring Surfaces, the world at your feet.
Summer is here and there's no better way to swing into the season than at Willow Pond Golf Course, the most improved golf course in Central Illinois. Golf for $30 Monday through Friday with a cart, $20 after 3 p.m. Golf Saturday and Sunday with a cart for just $35 and $25 after 3 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Seniors golf Monday through Friday with a cart for just $20. Not a golfer? The 19th Hole Bar and Grill serves up great food and drink specials, live video gaming, and the Full Swing Golf Simulator. Call and schedule a tee time today at 893-9000 or willowpondgolf.com.
Urbana's food truck rallies are back. Shake up your lunch routine and join in the last Tuesday of the month from April to October at the Urbana Civic Center, 108 East Water Street in downtown Urbana. Make sure you check out the City of Urbana Facebook page or visit urbanaillinois.us/foodtruck_rally for an updated list of your favorite food trucks that are participating the last Tuesday of the month through October. See you there.
Shop local. Support your community and get healthy at Urbana's Market at the Square each and every Saturday, May through November, rain or shine, from 7 to noon on the corner of Illinois and Vine in downtown Urbana.
Shop and enjoy Illinois-grown products, including meat, dairy, honey, baked goods, produce, flowers, plants, arts, crafts, and food trucks.
Market goers will also enjoy chef demos and samples on the first Thursday of each month. Make sure to check out their new website, urbanamarket.org, for info about vendors, programs, and much more.
Join the Champaign Parks Foundation on Friday, July 21st as we turn the Virginia Theater into a cabaret to benefit parks, programs, and services in our community. Admission is $60 per person and includes drinks, hors d'oeuvres, and a live performance by local jazz singer Katie Flynn. Reserve your spot now by emailing Laura Audeberry at laura.audaberry@champaignparks.com by July 14th. For more information, call 819-3839.
It seems like in every home, there's at least one room that's either too hot or too cold. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. Mitsubishi Electric has your comfort solution. Mitsubishi Electric cooling and heating systems are up to 40% more efficient with no ductwork and whisper quiet. Individual room control, giving you the freedom to find your perfect comfort level and save money too. Make your whole home comfortable again. See Lance Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for your comfort solution and live better.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Lands is your local Mitsubishi Electric Diamond dealer. Our technicians are experts at solving your comfort needs, one room or your whole house. Let us show you how a Mitsubishi Electric Heating and Cooling System can save you money now. Your comfort is our priority. Call Lands today at 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Hello, I'm Austin Berkman with the 434 Sports Center update presented by State Farm agent John Kaywood. With the service you get from State Farm, you might think their car insurance costs more, but with discounts up to 40%, you may find it even costs less. Call State Farm agent John Kaywood in Champaign, Illinois at 217-367-1105 today. The Illini have some recruiting news in football and in basketball. Starting in Illini football, Vertus Brown, a 4-star defensive lineman or offensive lineman, from Chicago and IMG Academy in Florida, he has committed to FSU. The Illini were heavily involved in that one. And now in Illini basketball, the Illini have offered Mac Irvin Fire and Morgan Park player in Tarnell Pearson. Tarnell is a 6'8", 200-pound power forward. He has offers from most notably Oklahoma State and Washington State. Well, baseball starts tonight, and all three local teams begin their second halves of the year, but the trade winds keep swirling around the Cubs. John Morosi of MLB Network and Fox Sports is reporting that sources Cubs continuing to show interest in Sonny Gray, even after the Jose Quintana trade. One reason, vacancy still remains in the 18 rotation. Now on to the actual baseball games. The 43 and 45 St. Louis Cardinals begin their second half with a road trip to Pittsburgh for a 6:05 first pitch. It's the 3.12 ERA owner Mike Leake taking on Garrett Cole in his 94 Ks. The Cardinals own a 4-2 record over the Bucks this year. Listen to the game right here on ESPN CU 93.5. The Cubs start their second half with an interleague matchup against the Baltimore Orioles in Camden Yards. Mike Montgomery, who has only pitched relief against the O's, he has an 0-4 record with a 4.58 ERA against the AL East. The O's send Kevin Gausman to the hill. The game starts at 6:05 Central Time, listed on US 105.9. And the White Sox host Seattle Mariners, the Battle of Jameses. James Paxton versus James Shields. And that, my friends, is the Sports Center update.
I'll take Seattle.
In the game that nobody cares about except Sox fans now that want to lose. Hey, mosquitoes could be a nuisance. And with a reported case of West Nile in Champaign, it's even more important to keep your yard mosquito-free, and you can do that with Prairie View Landscaping. And it's their 25th year in business. So they're celebrating by offering up to 25% off their mosquito program. Just email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Sign up today, and then on July 28th, Prairie View Landscaping will announce a winner on the Tay and J Show for 2 free treatments to get rid of those mosquitoes. Email Prairie View Landscaping. You can do it at mypvdiscount@gmail.com.
It is Tay and J Show. He's on Tay. I'm Jeremy Warner. If you want to weigh in, you can text us on the Cheap Hour text line at 217-359-2255. That's 359-2255. We talked with Brett Behrens, WCIA3 sports director. We've talked some Illini hoops and football recruiting. But let's get to the Jupiters of the Crossing phone line and welcome in one of our buddies, Steve Greenberg from the Chicago Sun-Times, who is now, or is going to be at least, a published book author.
So cool.
Congratulations, Steve.
Thank you, fellas. How are you?
Doing well.
Good, buddy.
Well, tell us a little bit about your book, which is basically a bucket list for college football fans. How did you come up with this idea? How did it all get started, Steve?
Well, the truth is I was recommended by someone who was offered the opportunity to do the book in the first place. I was a second choice. But that's the way it is, right?
Yeah.
that's the way it is. But it's it's great because I used to be the Sporting News college football editor. I became a national college football writer. It's not exactly what I do now, but for the longest stretch of my career, that's what I covered, and mixed in NFL as well. And so my idea for a book was things that fans can really do, sort of an experiential, a kind of almost coffee table like book that can be taken in bits and pieces, vignettes on 100+ places you can go, whether it's stadiums to see, rivalries to experience, museums to attend, and some of these are on the familiar path. Some of them are quite off it. An example being in Monument Valley, Utah, a high school there, Navajo student population, and this incredible field they play at. And that's not one that I personally have gotten to see, although I intend to. Most of these I've been at, rivalry games. I've covered stadiums I've been in, and but putting together a list, there's just a lot out there, and you know how football is. I mean, it's one of those sports. It's great for TV, but it's better to experience live.
Yes.
Yeah, Steve. So I was going to ask, what percentage of these do you think you've been to? Because I know you've had a nice long career here covering college football, but this is an impressive list of places.
I think I haven't counted exactly. I would say if you look at the colleges represented either for rivalry games or for the stadiums, for their 8 stadiums with 100,000, I've been to them all. The rivalry games, there are maybe 25, I think, in the book, and I've covered, if not the rivalry games themselves, I mean many of them, but have been to maybe 80% of those stadiums.
Wow.
And all the NFL rivalries, I've been to all 10 of those, and and on. So there's a lot of that, but this is also about tailgates you can attend, and other football things that are not as direct and explicit as attending a game. And so most of these I've done or seen, but a lot of them I had to do the kind of reporting that we do on, talk to people who've been there, and dig for anecdotes, the type of firsthand experiences that you can do there. I've never, for example, attended Lambeau Field as a fan, but I've got a lot of friends in that part of the country. I went to school up in Wisconsin, and so I talked to them about how do you park around there, and got this these great tips about parking on a lawn and what that entails, what the sort of implicit agreement is when you do that, what you get for it. You get a brat, you get the chance to stay and eat brats and have beer and watch pregame or the previous game, a set of games on TVs, which are routinely set up in the garage of the homeowner who's charging you to park on his lawn. These things that come with the, that kind of come with the price that you wouldn't know if you didn't ask. And so it's a little bit of a guide a little bit of a how-to.
I love it. Steve Greenberg is our guest. I think this is awesome for a couple of reasons. I've been lucky enough to be to Lambeau, and I think reading that book and reading that would bring back so many great memories for me, because that's exactly what we did. We parked in some dude's yard, and he charges some money, and he's like, what do you need? I've got charcoal grill, I got a lighter, all this stuff, and it was just awesome. But the one thing, Steve, that I love about this and can't wait to do this and read this, some buddies and I for 5 years have talked about going to the Grove. And it's one of those where, we tailgate at Illinois. I love tailgating at Illinois, but it would be so fun to go and experience tailgates on other parts of it. And while I'm not the biggest college football nut in terms of needing to see this game per se, I would love to just go take in the environment. And you're saying that this book can kind of give you some tips and ideas on how to do that, correct?
Oh, yeah. So the Grove, you referenced the Grove. That is generally considered the greatest college football tailgate. Yeah, it's at Ole Miss. Last time I was there was when Ole Miss hosted and beat Alabama, beat the Tide at the time, moved into the top ranking in the country and ended unbeaten Alabama's run. A huge game. And the Grove that day, it's hard to describe how crowded it is. And also, I tend to feel like a bull in a china shop sometimes anyway, but walking around in that grove, which is a place where beautiful people seem to gather and they dress really nicely at Ole Miss. You know, you're talking about college boys in bow ties and college girls in dresses, and you know, this is what they wear to the football game. It's really funny. I mean, it's hard to relate to, right? I mean, especially for us hardy Midwesterners. It's hardy and pasty. It's hard to relate to, but the South, man, the college football culture in the South, and everybody hears about this, what it's like in SEC country and that region in general. But I mean, it is different, a whole different thing. It's the lifeblood of the whole sports experience for sure. Especially, you know, many of these outposts aren't connected in any literal or even, you know, traditional way to a pro sports market. You know, if you're at Ole Miss, maybe you're a Saints fan, and maybe you're not, but you're definitely Ole Miss or you're Mississippi State without question. And obviously, a place like Alabama, you're Alabama or Auburn, and that comes before anything and everything else.
Steve Greenberg, our guest. You can follow him on Twitter at SL Greenberg. Steve, this is probably really hard for you to put down to one, but is there two places maybe? Yeah. There are two experiences watching college football that have stuck with you that you've seen in person.
Has to be the Illinois-Purdue game.
Of course.
Come on.
I'm
Nothing
right
like
there with you.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it.
Right. That's a great question. I'm going to say one that jumps right to mind is, you guys remember the year after Johnny Manziel went into Alabama as a freshman and beat the Tide. You know, we're taught this is becoming a theme, Alabama. Well, the next year, Alabama, week 2 of the season, opened at Kyle Field against Manziel and Texas A&M. And it was, you know, that place shakes. You know, Big Ten fans know that when Wisconsin fans jump around before the fourth quarter, the stadium kind of shakes, the press box shakes. It's nothing compared to what it's like at Kyle Field. There are more people. They are, you know, crazier. They jump around more, and they do it, you know, throughout the game. So that just and then the game itself was spectacular. Lead changes, game played in the 40s, and it was one of the formative games of that early season and that entire season. So that jumps to mind. But there certainly are others. You know, Michigan, Ohio State. Games at Penn State. Again, Penn State hosted Alabama. I covered that, and that was a while ago. But that was one. Tennessee.
Yeah.
Florida at Florida State, Doak Walker Stadium, when the Gators were great and the Seminoles were great. Now that stadium isn't in my book. It's probably not at the very top of the list for stadiums, but you know, it's on the cutting room floor to be sure, and you can't go wrong with Florida FSU. I would look at that too.
Good stuff. Steve Greenberg, how do we go about getting this book?
Well, we got to say the title. I'm going to have to take a deep breath before I do that. It's pretty long. It's called The Die Hard Football Fans Bucket List Blitz. 101 rivalries, tailgates, and gridiron traditions to see and do before you're sacked.
Wow.
And I can tell by your stunned silence that you guys love the title.
Well done.
You know, you could find it on Amazon at that by for sure, and pre-order there. You could get it through my Twitter at SL Greenberg. It's on sale in bookstores at the start of August. It's a great gift item. You know, if you're not a football nut, you know someone who is.
Yes.
Holidays or the start of football season celebrated with a gift. That's my plea to everybody. It's great to talk to you guys. I appreciate you having me on to discuss this.
Yeah, Steve, before we let you go, college football season's right around the corner. Big Ten-wise, what are you most interested going into Media Day, even though there's not going to be any great players there, I guess?
Yeah. We can talk about that, by the way, if you want. But what am I most interested in? I mean, I want to know who this year's Penn State is, and I want to know if it's Penn State. I don't know that it will be. You know, I mean, I think that a lot of times what we see in college sports, maybe sports in general, certainly in college football, is there's a tone, a tenor to each team's season. you don't just have good luck here and bad luck there. You tend to have good luck or bad luck throughout.
Agreed.
Especially when, and so Penn State, everything broke right for that team last year, except for the end of the Rose Bowl, which is kind of important. But even in that Rose Bowl, I would submit that USC was better, but Penn State did what it had done all year, which is hang in against the best teams and then pull it out or go down heroically. So I think that I'm not convinced, although Trace McSorley, Saquon Barkley, two guys who will not be at Big Ten Media Days, which is nuts, even though they're back, and even though they're building, they're still sharing a division with Ohio State. They're still sharing a division with Michigan. And I want to see how well they do. I want to see how well my alma mater, Wisconsin, does, given its ideal schedule.
Yep.
I would love to see whether it's Northwestern or Minnesota or Nebraska or Iowa again, great competition from the West. And I mean, to me, the more the merrier. I'm sure you guys agree. We want to see good races and even play as much as possible and have the Big Ten kind of re-rise, because I think a couple of years ago we were talking about the possibility that it was the best conference in the country. We're not doing that right now.
No.
But if Penn State holds up its end and Michigan does what we all are waiting for under Harbaugh, and Ohio State stays where it is and the West keeps creeping up, we are still in a real good period and entering what could be a great one for the conference.
Steve Greenberg.
And maybe Illinois can win 4 games.
Yeah.
That seems pretty high.
And then we could the three of us could all go take in a Purdue, Illinois.
Oh, big one. Big one in West Lafayette.
Hey, we can make some memories, Steve.
It's the Die Hard Football Fans Bucket List Blitz by Steve Greenberg. You can Google it, Amazon. You can follow him on Twitter at SL Greenberg. Steve, congratulations on having a published book. That's really cool and a great accomplishment for you.
Thanks. You guys are the best.
All right, see you,
Thank
Steve.
you, Steve. Good stuff. I think that is such an accomplishment.
I'm
not even a journalist, and I've always thought I would love to write a book.
I would too. I just need that story to write.
And every day I come up with stories for you. Every day I'm like, hey, you know what'd be cool, Jeremy? We were talking about this last night, weren't we?
Bring them to me in the next segment.
You want to do that?
Yeah, throw some at me in the next segment.
Now you're going to make me forget them all. But
some
I'll come
Illini-themed ones?
I had some Illini-themed one. I had I'll try to remember them all.
All right, 217-359-2255. You can text us on the Cheap Power text line.
It is the Tay and J Show. It's Lon Tay from ESPN 93.5, and whenever I need work done on my car, I go to Long's Garage. No, not Lon's Garage, Long's Garage in Urbana on Main Street, just east of Schnucks. From engines and brakes to new tires, you can get a variety of auto maintenance assistance from the experts at Long's Garage Complete Auto Service. And this summer, beat the heat and come into Long's Garage for an AC check. Since 1941, Long's Garage has offered expert repair services. Visit them today at 503 East Main Street in Urbana, just east of Schnucks.
UVI Community Credit Union for campus and community.
Celebrate with 0%, 50,000 bonus points, and 5 times points. The University of Illinois is celebrating 150 years, and the U of I Community Credit Union is getting in on the celebration with this exclusive offer. Now through September 30th, open a new Illini Visa and watch the advantages roll in, like 0%. That's right, 0% on all purchases until May 2018 for qualified applicants. Plus, everyone who opens a new Illini Visa rewards card could earn up to 50,000 bonus points. Use those points to purchase trips, gift cards, electronics, and more. But that's not all. All reward card holders will earn 5 times points on U of I purchases. Apply for your card today at IlliniCard.org. That's IlliniCard.org. Celebrate the University of Illinois and get rewarded, because no one cheers louder for the community than the U of I Community Credit Union.
U of I Community Credit Union for campus and community.
You already know Houlihan's Restaurant and Bar at the iHotel is a great restaurant, but don't forget about the bar. Fantastic drink specials and mouth-watering menu items, from snacks to full meals, a nice selection of draft, craft, and domestic beers, and just about any cocktail you can imagine. Watch a game with multiple flat screens on all sides of the bar, or grab some tables and make it a party. Drink specials daily, plus Houlihan's is now serving a delicious hot breakfast 7 days a week. Houlihan's at the iHotel. Check them out at the corner of 1st Street and St. Mary's Road, just south of the State Farm Center.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Come diving with Midwest Scuba Center. Explore all the places you can't see from up here. Learn from experienced divers to safely enjoy the underwater world. There's upcoming trips including Fiji, Costa Rica, and other local destinations for diving, snorkeling, wildlife boat tours, canopy zip lines, and animal sanctuary tours. These all-inclusive trips provide flights, food and drink, lodging, instruction, equipment, and tours. Certified diver and non-diver certification rates apply. Limited space is available, so reserve your spot today. Visit Midwest Scuba Center online at divemsc.com.
Hey, what are we doing for your birthday party this summer? Well, I was hoping to have a cookout like last summer. What? Don't you remember all those mosquito bites we got last year?
Good news, girls. Not only is Prairie View taking care of everyone's dandelions, now I'm going to take care of all the mosquitoes, too.
Yay!
Enjoy a bug-free summer. For all your mosquito control needs, call Lindy at Prairie View Landscaping and Turf Management at 355-9422. That's 355-9422 for mosquito control from Prairie View Landscaping. Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
Take a drive to Hoopston for the best deals. At the Ford store on Route 1, get up to $5,550 off America's favorite Ford F-150. If you think that's a good deal, how about the family hauling Ford Expedition for up to $7,500 off? Over at Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Route 9, it's summer clearance deals like 20% off select Jeep Patriots, up to $4,500 total cash off Jeep Cherokees, and up to $6,250 off Ram trucks. These are just a few of the hot deals in Hoopston. Come in today or visit them online, fordofhoopston.com and hoopstonchrysler.com.
The Twin City Theater Company presents Bleacher Bums, a 9-inning comedy about those lovable losers, the Chicago Cubs. Before last year, of course, Bleacher Bums takes place in the bleachers of Chicago's Wrigley Field. The characters are a bunch of Cubs fans watching a game against the Cardinals. Most of them know each other, even if they might not necessarily like or tolerate each other. Don't miss this show, July 13th through the 16th at the Soto Theater in downtown Champaign. For tickets, log on to TwinCitySquare.com. Thanks to this station, Dr. J. Barry Howell, Libman, the Esquire Lounge, and Budweiser, reminding you to please drink responsibly. This play contains adult language and may not be suitable for all ages.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
If you really want to enjoy life's celebrations, you need to call Rosati's Pizza for their comfortable catering package for 10 for just $92.35. Rosati's will serve you, along with your friends, families, and coworkers, a delicious lunch or dinner for under $100. Feed them all with Italian beef, pasta salad, and garlic bread. It's all about good food at Rosati's. Having a party, picnic, hosting a celebration? Call Rosati's for their comfortable catering package for 10. Rosati's Pizza, 701 South Gregory in Urbana, or call 328-2334.
Why drive to Key West when you can enjoy the new Tiki Bar and Patio at Daly's Sports Bar, 116 West Washington Street in Philo. With 9 flat-screen TVs and the MLB package, you can take in your favorite team's action live. Daily drink specials Wednesday through Friday evening from 5 to 9 p.m. Enjoy the Daly's Outback Food Wagon on the patio featuring special burgers, sandwiches, shrimp baskets, fried and grilled cod, nachos, tacos, and cheesy fries. Now through August 25th, enter to win a trip to Las Vegas with $100 cash drawings every Friday. There's no purchase necessary to enter and win. Co-sponsored by XL Entertainment, Illinois' most chosen terminal operator. Play slots and win some cash at Daly's. featuring the latest and hottest slots. Come in and play slots, have a blast, some great food and drinks, and hit the jackpot. Be sure and enter for your chance to go to Vegas now through August 25th with $100 cash drawings every Friday at Daily Sports Bar, 116 West Washington in the heart of Philo. Must be 21 or older to play slots. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your four-legged friends need protection too. Pet insurance from Pekin Insurance covers cats and dogs at least 6 weeks of age or older as an enhancement to your homeowner's coverage. Choose between $2,500 or $5,000 worth of coverage for a variety of pet health services. You can even take your pet to the veterinarian of your choice. Learn more at PekinInsurance.com or ask your local agent about how to protect your furry family members. For pet insurance that is beyond the expected, contact Pekin Insurance today.
Winning can be fun, and we love giving away free stuff, but we want to make sure it's fair for everyone. So here are the rules when competing to win on ESPN 93.5. No purchase necessary. Prize must be collected within 30 days during business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 2702 Boulder in Urbana. ESPN Radio assumes no liability due to circumstances beyond our control, and any prize may be substituted with a prize of equal or greater value. Winners are liable for any taxes, tips, or other miscellaneous charges associated with the prize. All contestants must have a valid ID and social security number. Our judges' decisions are final and reserve the right to end any contest at any time for any reason without notice. In the event that a contestant is found to be ineligible for a prize, said prize will not be awarded. And if you win, we reserve the right to use your likeness or voice on the radio or online, and any winners must wait 30 days to win again. Get a complete list of rules and more information on any contest on ESPN Radio at ESPNCU.com. Those are the rules, and good luck from ESPN 93.5.
Hi, it's Jackie Walk with Special Olympics Illinois Area 8 in Champaign. Join me for our 18th annual golf outing benefiting the athletes in Area 8. This event is hosted by the Stone Creek Golf Club in Urbana and will be Monday, August 14th at 11 a.m. Join us this year as a golfer, sponsor, or donate to our raffle. The cost is $100 for an individual or $400 for a team of 4. For more information to register or sponsor this outing, contact me at 355-1750 or email me at jwalk@soill.org.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
I'm even more excited today to hear this song, which is the song I play on Friday during the last hour of the Tay and J Show. Are you going to Snapchat me?
Yes, I am.
I've
only snapped like twice.
You can Snapchat Andrew. He's doing it right now.
Oh, I got to do that. But how do you take a video?
We're only on, I don't think you can on Snapchat. Can you?
Austin, get on here.
Yeah.
I need a tutorial. Yeah. I was thinking that the other day. I'm like, how do I take a video? I don't see like a video thing.
Andrew probably
you just hold it?
Yeah, so you hold the where you hold the camera where you're going to take a photo. You just hold that and you can create a video.
Okay, I got it.
I just did one.
I figured it out.
And then Andrew knows how to create faces.
Snapchat tutorials.
Yeah, so you can do face filters. You can do filters.
Yeah, where do you get the filters?
You hold your screen where your face is, and then the faces come up.
Hold your screen where I moved on you. All right.
Okay. All right. I'm getting it.
I have to not move.
I saw your story on Rick Hahn yesterday. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was pumped about
get rid
Rick
of that
Hahn
one.
thing.
That's ugly, man.
I was really pumped about the Rick Hahn, so I sent my second Snapchat.
Oh, that's a DJ. Hey, show Jeremy that one. That's a Dylan Meyer one.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Totally a Dylan Meyer one.
No, this is good radio.
This is great radio.
If you guys ever wanted Snapchat tutorials, I mean, that's what we've been giving you the last week.
359-2255. We are off early today. Cardinals baseball. Baseball's back. Mike Leake against Garrett Cole. Cardinals and Pirates. Be nice to get out to a win here. The Cubbies are at Baltimore. Montgomery on the Hill. And the White Sox host the Mariners tonight. I do want to say RJ down at Daily Sports Bar giving away another $100 tonight around 6 o'clock. And they're going to be doing a Vegas trip giveaway on August 25th. Working with Excel Entertainment. So tonight, 5 to 9 drink specials, food truck on the patio, giving away $100 at Daly's in Philo if you get a chance to head down.
All right, Lon, you said you were giving me advice of a book because I eventually want to write a book. I always say I need to find the story.
Yes.
I just don't want to force a story, but
no, right.
You know, like Illinois recruiting, something like that. I'd love to write an in-depth book following. The key is access.
Yes.
The key is getting access to somebody. Like some of the books I've liked, Meat Market, which is all about recruiting. Bruce Feldman, who used to write for ESPN and Fox Sports, he got with Ed Orgeron. for a year and got in-depth access to the recruiting room, to the football staff, and they allowed him to be there without any conditions, right? He could write what he wanted.
Yeah.
And then he got access to a lot of recruits and things like that. So it's a really in-depth book that takes you kind of behind the curtain.
It's tough because if you're going to write a book, it has to be not just something that Champaign-Urbana and the area is going to like, right? I mean, like Steve Greenberg is basically approaching every college football fan out there by saying, hey, your team is probably in this, and at least there is a team in your area or a stadium or a tailgate anywhere in the country that you could go to and attend.
It's got to be something unique.
Unique, right. So, in other words, I'd love, at the end of his tenure, I would love to have a book about Mikey Dudek and all the troubles he went through, and hopefully the escalation here then of what he does. But that isn't really going to draw a lot of...
I don't think that's a unique story, right? Coming back from injury.
Anything to do with recruiting, I think, would be cool.
Yes. If you just need the access.
Yes. If you could follow around in Orlando, Antigua, or someone like that, and you could see how this develops. I want you to be my eyes of a coach walking in and talking to a player in Chicago.
Like if you were able to be in Mark Smith's living room.
Yes. That would be an interesting story.
First meeting.
That would be an interesting story. The other thing I would love to have a book on, and this would be a national in terms of attendance or allegiance there. No, that's not the right. Doesn't matter. It's Friday. Interest, thank you. Would be a general manager at the trading deadline.
Yes.
That would be...
One of my favorite books is, I think I gave this to you.
You did.
Thomas Dimitroff of the Atlanta Falcons, and it got into the discussions. They were in the war room. It was war room.
Awesome.
That's the name of the book.
That's right.
They had the discussions with the Julio Jones trade, so you get to get behind the curtain there.
That would be cool.
Bill Belichick and the Patriots let them in.
Right.
So you're going through a draft. Basically, with 3 different organizations. I think Scott Pioli and the Kansas. So it was basically that tree allowed this author. I forgot who wrote it. It's called War Room, though. Behind the scenes for the NFL draft.
Yeah,
that was one of my original ideas. Was I'd love to do in depth behind a draft.
I think it would be unbelievable.
Like those kind of things. Trade deadline.
Yes,
would be phenomenal.
Baseball winter meetings. It'd be cool to follow around John Mozeliak or Theo Epstein at the winter meetings, and what are they discussing? Like, what trade didn't happen, and you had no idea that it even could have happened.
But like you probably have to write it a year from now, right?
Yeah, right. That'd be the problem.
After it happened. No, it'd be
Wouldn't
good,
be
though.
Timely, but it would be cool.
No, I think that even if it was a year later, the War Room was great.
Well, yeah.
Just because you got behind the scenes of it. But that would be really intriguing.
It would be.
Would it be better at the trade deadline or the winter meetings? I think the winter meetings.
I think the winter meetings for me would be cool.
You just got to set yourself up with the right team.
Yes, that's exactly right. And have somebody that is engaging.
Like, could you imagine the White Sox last year?
Oh my good. Well, Rick Hahn, I used to joke that he was just sitting around in his hotel room getting drunk, offering trade offers like, "Hey, I got this guy.
Yeah.
Who wants Chris Sale? Give me this." The other one I think that would be interesting for Illinois fans, and you could do it on a national level because he's achieved so much success, is Bill Self. And you could even have a chapter in there of what happened at Illinois.
Do you get interested in those like coach books?
I would with Bill Self.
Like those,
normally, I don't.
Like Calipari.
No, that doesn't interest me.
Krzyzewski released their leadership things that are really edited down, and they have so much control over.
So I'm thinking of a guy in Minnesota. Would he be that interested in a Bill Self book? Probably no.
You know what would kind of like almost off the beaten path for me, but I think would be really intriguing because it's such a niche sport. Would be like following the Illinois men's gymnastics program.
Yeah.
I
think, the golf team.
Yeah, I mean the golf team's obviously really good, but how much does the average person know about gymnastics?
No, that's fair.
In that culture.
That's fair, or what they even do. I have no idea how they even practice.
And the injuries that are involved in it.
Yeah, I mean...
That'd be something I know nothing about.
Right.
But going in and exploring would be interesting.
There's such a regional thing you could do. Like, I would love... If you would have been there for the hire of Josh Whitman and his hire of Lovie Smith.
If you could have been in on the AD interviews.
Oh, my.
Oh, man.
Oh, that would have been fun. That would have been fun.
Or if you could have been on the interview of Mike Thomas with Tim Beckman. That would have been a phenomenal book. Just that hour of time.
Yes.
Like if you had access to that.
So we could look through the eyes of Mike Thomas and say, yep, this is the guy we want to hire.
Like if you couldn't intervene because you don't want to affect anything, but you're like, Mike, can't hire that guy.
Like if you were a ghost, like you could go back in time, but Mike Thomas can't actually hear you, and you're right by his ear going, don't do it. Do not hire.
I was watching Interstellar yesterday, and there's the ghost part.
Exactly.
Yeah,
there you go. So I think there's so many cool things that would be really neat stories that you could write. But you're right. It has to be something that is not just a regional thing. I mean, you can write a book. There's been books done.
I could write a bad book about the 05 team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And people are being interested in it, but
They would.
I don't know if it's going to be good.
That's the thing.
I think if you have access to them throughout the year,
yes,
right,
that would be the cool
key.
part. It would be sitting those guys in a room and having them tell stories about what happened in Minnesota on the road at a hotel room, something funny.
I mean, Friday Night Lights.
Yeah,
it's just a high school football team.
That's cool,
right? But that book resonated with so many people because he got so much in depth with the economics of it. The race of it.
Very cool.
That program in Texas and West Texas and all that.
I agree. I don't know. Well, maybe one day we'll have people shoot in text topics that they want to see a Jeremy Warner book on.
No, it'd be the 05 team then.
I got a book, the Tay and J Show.
Like Mike and the Mad Dog. I think I'm going to watch that tonight.
How did the Tay and J Show start? What's
I mean, we
happened in
passed
between?
up Francesa and Russo, right?
Yeah. We just the only difference we don't have the blood, like the strong tooth of us hating each other.
Yeah.
We just don't hate each other.
That's got to happen soon, right?
Right. Oh, yeah. I'd say any day now that's going to happen.
Thanks to our guests, Brett Behrens, WCIA3 Sports Director, Steve Greenberg,
15
Chicago
seconds.
Sun-Times. If you missed any of the show, get the podcast, ESPNCU.com. Thanks to Trevor Valise. Thanks to Austin Berkland. Thank you, Andrew, for teaching me Snapchat.
He's probably got more to show you here in a minute. All right, enjoy Cardinal baseball. Baseball's back! Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Tay and J Show.
The ribeye has the best, the greatest steak in town.
If you're looking for Champaign Urbana's great steak place, it's the Ribeye Restaurant. Still with them.
From Cardinals Nation Restaurant in downtown St. Louis, welcome to the Amaranth pregame show. Chris Raby with you on the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network as the Cardinals exit the All-Star break and get ready for baseball. The first of 3 games tonight in Pittsburgh. Cardinals leaving the break and headed on a 10-game 3-city road trip. Happy to be with you after the break. Hope everyone had a wonderful couple of days off. Tonight, the Cardinals send Mike Leake to the mound against Garrett Cole and look to begin to close the gap on the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers. Coming up, we'll have some news as the Cardinals make some moves of their own coming out of the break. Also, we'll open the reporter's notebook with Dan McLaughlin of Fox Sports Midwest. Mike Shannon is the manager's chat with Mike Matheny. John Rooney joins Mike for the first word from the booth, and Mike Claiborne visits with Cardinals general manager Mike Gersh. All of that as we get ready for baseball. Mike Leake against Garrett Cole. Let's take a look, though, at the pre-break portion of the schedule. It's our Central Bank of St. Louis replay.
Here's the 1-1 for Richard. Swing and a shot deep to left center. The Cardinals win it on an RBI base hit by Gritchen. 4-3, the Redbirds are winners here on opening night.
Fowler hits it deep, right field, down the line, and it is a 2-home-run game for Dexter Fowler. 2-1 Cardinals.
All right, come on, Matt Carpenter, get it done right here. 3-2 pitch, swing and a long high fly ball to right field. The Cardinals win this one on a grand slam home run by Matt Carpenter. In the bottom of the 11th, he hit it a ton out of here. He touches them all, and the Cardinals win it 8-4.
The 1-ball, 1-strike pitch. Walters swings and sends a fly ball down the left field line. Tommy Pham's on the run into foul territory. He makes a sliding catch for a Redbird winner.
7-0 Cardinals here in the 9th inning. The delivery. Swinging a ground ball to the shortstop. Up over an OUT. There it is. A complete game. The first one ever for Carlos Martinez. And the first one by a Cardinal pitcher in 2017. The Cardinals win it 7-0 on a marvelous pitching job by Carlos Martinez. Curveball home run. Now look at this one sail. Way. It goes into Big Mac land. Mr. Boyd hits his second of the year. There wasn't any doubt about that one.
The 0-2 pitch. A swing and a fly ball hit well. Left center field. It's a goner. The ball lands in the Mets bullpen. Paul DeYoung's 9th home run of the year. And he's 9 for 10 in this series.
Yeah, what a weekend for Paul DeJong, a historic series that ushered the Cardinals into the break. They're 43-45, and tonight open up the post-break portion of the schedule against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Replay brought to you by Central Bank of St. Louis, your hometown bank of the St. Louis Cardinals. Follow Cardinals Baseball Live at the MLB.com at-bat mobile app. Stay connected to the game's best players all season long with Game Day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat today. It's your number one app for live baseball. Roster moves next on the Cardinals Radio Network.
The ribeye has the best, the greatest steak in town.
If you're looking for Champaign-Urbana's great steak place, it's the Ribeye Restaurant. Still with their famous salad bar and their delicious seasoned fried shrimp and delicious grilled chicken entrees. The Ribeye Restaurant, 1701 South Neal Street in Champaign. For reservations, call 351-9115.
The ribeye is the best. We're the one, the great one steak place.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Hey, what are we doing for your birthday party this summer? Well, I was hoping to have a cookout like last summer. What? Don't you remember all those mosquito bites we got last year?
Good news, girls. Not only is Prairie View taking care of everyone's dandelions, now I'm going to take care of all their mosquitoes, too.
Yay!
Enjoy a bug-free summer. For all your mosquito control needs, call Lindy at Prairie View Landscaping and Turf Management at 355-9422. That's 355-9422 for mosquito control from Prairie View Landscaping.
When your car breaks down, you realize just how much you need it. And when it breaks down, Beaumont Alignment Plus steps up. For routine maintenance like brakes, oil changes, tune-ups, batteries, and tires, you can count on Beaumont Alignment Plus. Bigger issues including alignment, suspension work, starters, alternators, transmission requires specialists. So get to know Beaumont Alignment Plus for your vehicle repairs. With locations on Bloomington Road and Dennison Drive in Champaign, you're never far from the help you need. It's good to know that quality service is still affordable at Beaumont Alignment Plus.
We're getting ready for the Cardinals and the Pittsburgh Pirates tonight. First game post All-Star break, and a couple of moves made by the Cardinals as Colton Wong and Kevin Segrist have both been activated from the disabled list. The Farm Report brought to you by Monsanto, a proud supporter of America's farmers. Alex Mejia and Luke Weaver, the corresponding moves as they head to AAA Memphis. Wong missed 24 games on the DL, made a rehab assignment in Springfield, was 6 for 15 with a home run, 2 doubles, and 4 RBI. How about Colton? Before his injury, he raised his batting average to .301 with a 6-game hitting streak, going 9 for 20 with the .450 average. Segrist missed 17 games on the DL. He made a pair of rehab outings with Springfield through an inning with a strikeout in each appearance, 1-1 with a .494 ERA so far this year. So Mejia and Weaver head back down. Weaver appeared in 2 games since his recall July 3rd, 3 combined scoreless innings in relief against Miami. When we come back, Dan McLaughlin helps us break down these moves and preview the rest of the season on the Ameren pregame show as we open the Reporter's Notebook. That's next in the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network.
What do you look for in a tire? Confidence? Performance? You'll find all these things and more in the Mastercraft Courser AXT tire. It has a 5-rib design for superior on-road performance and handling. The Courser AXT offers aggressive off-road capabilities and all-season performance. The Mastercraft AXT offers the impressive qualities you have come to expect from Mastercraft tires, and all at a price that will meet your budget. Mastercraft tires, master the road.
Visit Tire Monkey today.
You're at the ballpark every day, crouching down, catching heat, all but invisible. Your job lacks fame and glory, but offers plenty of distracting aches and pains. That's the life of a bullpen catcher. You can't afford to lose focus. Neither can your team. So be prepared with ACE braces, supports, and elastic bandages. And don't be distracted by pain. Ace brand products available at Schnucks.
Hey, it's Stevie J. Have the roof your home deserves. For your next roofing project, why don't you go with Roof Doctors, a locally owned and family-operated business for over 25 years. They use superior materials. They're a certified shingle contractor, so they can offer a 50-year non-prorated full system warranty, and they won't loan your work out to subcontractors. Hey, Roof Doctors has worked on my home, and the results are fantastic. But don't just take it from me. With an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, Roof Doctors has plenty of satisfied customers. Get a free quote at roofdoctorsco.com.
Oh, hey, hi, hello there. It's me, your air conditioner. You can call me AC if you want, but Mr. Conditioner is my dad's name. Okay, listen, you may have noticed that I'm using a lot of energy right now, and that's why you need to call an expert. Yep, the experts can give me a precision tune-up, so you'll save up to 30% on energy bills, and I won't have to work so hard, which is great because I'm about to pass out.
At Chief Bauer Service Experts, save $41 off an AC Precision Tune-Up. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com. For expert service guaranteed.
Call 866-EXPERTS.
Hi, I'm Mike Carpenter from the Tay and J Show on ESPN 93.5, and for over 20 years, Simplified Computers has been helping local businesses and nonprofits with their computing and networking needs. Simplified Computers covers everything from servers, network security, cloud-based applications, wireless accessibility, computer support. In short, whatever technical issues your business runs into, the guys at Simplified Computers have seen it, and they can help. Call them at 352-5000. That's 352-5000. Simplified Computers. Simply the best. Springtime is here, and that means it's time to hit the water, and there's no better way to do it than a Hobie kayak from Champagne Surplus. These revolutionary boats feature Mirage Drive technology that allows you to pedal the kayak with your feet for a seamless, hands-free experience. Perfect for kayak fishing or a leisurely ride on a local lake. Stop by Champagne Surplus, your exclusive Hobie dealer in East Central Illinois, to check out these top-of-the-line kayaks today. Champagne Surplus, 303 South Neal Street in downtown Champaign.
All right, let's head to Pittsburgh and open the Reporter's Notebook with Dan McLaughlin, TV voice of the Cardinals on Fox Sports Midwest. Dan, how was the break?
It was great. Great to get refreshed and now ready for what we hope to be a very fun and fruitful second half of the season.
And we'll know right off the bat, won't we? Because it opens up with this road trip through Pittsburgh, in New York against the Mets, Chicago. Then you've got Colorado and Arizona at home. That takes you to the trade deadline before heading to Milwaukee. What a stretch of baseball to tell us a lot about this club coming out of the break.
Very important stretch. And the second half, the Cardinals are going to have to be road warriors because of the 74 games remaining. 43 of those are on the road. So if you add it up, that's 58%. That's the highest percentage of road games remaining for any team across the major leagues. And the Cardinals this year are 17-21 entering play tonight on the road. And as you mentioned, the next few series should tell you what the Cardinals may or may not want to do at the trade deadline.
All right, Colton Wong is back in the lineup tonight at second base. Matt Carpenter moves to first. I think that maybe because of some of the contributions of DeYoung and Voit, what Colton was doing before the injury gets a bit overshadowed, Dan. What do you think he brings back to the lineup tonight?
Well, I completely agree. I mean, when you look at what Colton Wong brought to the team is that he had the highest average at the time and the highest on-base percentage, and you're exactly right. It was overlooked. And he also gives you athleticism defensively at second base. Now, when you bring him back into the lineup, it does cost you in what you want to do maybe with Luke Voit. So Mike Matheny, it's incumbent on him to be very creative with this lineup and trying to keep guys like Luke Voit sharp. And there's no question. He's given this team a little lift at first base. So to me, he's got to have some time to play. And that's where the Cardinals need to be creative here in the second half.
How about Paul DeYoung, Dan? He's been so good. A historic series before the break against the Mets at home. Similar to Aledmys Diaz last year, if DeYoung keeps producing, is the shortstop job his to lose?
Oh, I think so for sure. And it's not so much, to me, what he's done at the plate. It's what he's done defensively to solidify the position. You know, Aledmys Diaz, if he hit like he did a year ago, you could overlook the deficiencies that he had at short and the lack of range. But DeYoung has been able to shore that up. And I do think that's part of the equation here with the Cardinals is that they have played a much cleaner style of baseball. When you look at a Colton Wong returning and now DeYoung at shortstop, I think Jet Jerko has played beyond expectations defensively at third base, that you've got a pretty good defensive lineup for the Cardinals heading into play tonight. As a matter of fact, the Cardinals, this may surprise folks, but they were plus 22 in defensive runs saved in the first half of the season. That was 5th in the major leagues. So as you play a cleaner style of baseball, you win games. And the Cardinals have done that, winning 10 of their last 15 going into play tonight.
Dan, with Dexter Fowler back in center field, he was playing so well before the injury and got a taste of him last weekend. Even though it's Tommy Pham left instead of Grichuk and DeYoung at short instead of Diaz, with the rotation and the bullpen, is this about as healthy as this club has been and maybe as close to expectations lineup-wise as this team has been since breaking camp?
I would think so. And Kevin Segrist, as you talk about guys getting healthy, is back and available tonight. Now, Randall Grichuk does go on the 10-day disabled list, which then, as you look at it, may not complicate the outfield situation as much as you thought it might be. So you got 10 days to kind of figure out where guys are at once he comes back. And I know a lot of fans look at that center field situation, especially defensively, as one that could be a rotation of Tommy Pham and Dexter Fowler. You've already gone to Dexter and asked him to move in the lineup. He'll drop down to third tonight behind Tommy Pham. I just don't see that happening where he moves defensively for Pham to play in center field. But having said all that, it's a healthier club. It's a better club. And as you mentioned, and I think rightfully so, the next, I would say, 2 weeks of this regular season may dictate what happens the rest of the way out. But as you talked about, it's a healthier club, and we'll see how they start tonight with Mike Leake on the mound.
That's Dan McLaughlin. You can catch him on the broadcast tonight on Fox Sports Midwest. Hey, man, thanks for spending a couple of minutes with us, and have a great call tonight.
All right, buddy. Happy to be with you.
All right, we'll take a break and come back with more on the Amarin Pregame Show on the Cardinals Radio Network.
We, the entertainment-loving people, demand the best unlimited wireless plan ever from AT&T.
I thought I raised you better than to make demands like that.
You know what? We want even more than that. We want AT&T to give us unlimited entertainment.
What else do you want, a flying car?
Well, maybe HBO included in our plan.
How about a unicorn?
And we want to watch all our favorite shows without paying overages.
Good luck with that.
And we want all of this, plus we want to save $25 on our monthly DirecTV bill.
But you can save me $25?
Well, yeah.
I'm proud of you, son.
Only AT&T offers you unlimited data with HBO included and never pay overages. Visit your local AT&T store and get AT&T Unlimited Plus, our best wireless deal on unlimited data. Plus, save $25 per month on DirecTV. It's entertainment your way.
After 22 gigabytes of data usage, AT&T may slow speeds. Plan includes Stream Saver, and videos will stream in standard definition unless you turn it off. $25 DirecTV savings requires AT&T Unlimited Plus. Credits start within 3 bills. Service prices subject to change. Other usage, speed, fees, charges, and restrictions apply. See att.com/unlimited for details.
Get ready for some fireworks at Awesome Machines in Savoy. Come by today and check out our biggest Husqvarna sale ever. Zero-turn mowers, chainsaws, trimmers, blowers, and more. All Husqvarna items in stock are on summer clearance. Save hundreds, even thousands of dollars on Husqvarna zero-turn mowers. There are way too many items to list in 30 seconds, so give us a call or stop by today and find out how much you can save. Awesome Machines Sales and Rental, Route 45 Savoy, Route 36 Tuscola, and online at awesomemachines.net.
Hello, this is Shane Coulter of Country Arbors Nursery. Country Arbors Nursery is the area's largest seller of plants, mulch, and landscape rock, and right now we're having our biggest sale of the year. All spring annuals are 50% off. 4-inch coleus, petunia, and geraniums are just $1, and all perennials are 10% off. Maples, oaks, and tree service berries are 20% off. While others are clearing the shelves, we're restocking daily with more beautiful plants. And now they're all on sale and the best prices of the year. So come out to Country Arbors Nursery. We're in Urbana on Windsor Road. You can find out more information and directions at countryarbors.com.
There's a time for work, there's a time for play. There's a time to do things you don't do every day. There's a place to go for tools and machines and people with knowledge about these things. We've been here since 53 to meet your rental needs. When the time comes, we're the place for everything. Rental City.
Hanson's Auto Repair in Urbana is a family-owned and operated full-service garage. For over 40 years, they've offered friendly atmosphere, quality work, and reasonable prices. Whether it's an oil change, brake service, or engine replacement, Hanson's Auto does it all. They're a locally owned dealer who cares, providing fast, comprehensive, and expert service. Family-owned, operated, and trusted since 1966. Hanson's Auto Repair, 1202 East Washington in Urbana. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Visit them online at hansonsautorepair.com.
Let's head to Pittsburgh as we get ready for the Cardinals and Pirates. Time for the manager chat now as Mike Shannon visits the Cardinals skipper Mike Matheny, brought to you by Webster University.
First of all, let's talk about the roster changes.
Well, being able to bring Colton Wong back from the disabled list, and then also in the same time we were getting ready to send out a Jose Martinez, but Randall Grichuk went on the disabled list with a sore back, and so Jose came back and we sent out Mejia so we could make room for Colton. Kevin Segrist is healthy and back, and so we sent out Luke Weaver.
And Segrist is really important to your bullpen, isn't he?
He can be. We just got to have him right. And most of this season it hasn't looked quite right. I think there's been some health issues, and I think there's also been a situation with him trying to find some things mechanically, but he seems to be in a better spot now.
Michael, tell me about the second half, and what are your thoughts?
Well, I think our guys are moving in a good direction. I think you see a lot of things trending in the right way, and it all starts with our starting pitching. We're going to continue to need those guys to carry the burden and realize they got to keep us in a game. Like the way our offense is going about their business, I believe we're improving defensively and on the bases and starting to see some little things being done right that looks a lot much more like Cardinal baseball. So hopefully with the break and everybody even being a little bit healthier, we'll even see more of the same.
Tell me about your rotation, how you set it up after the break here.
Rotation will look like League tonight, and then you'll have Lance, and then Carlos, then Waino, and then Waka.
And is there any particular reason why you set it up like that?
Well, I think more than anything else is to get Waka more rest, and we've said that from the beginning. He's one guy we've kind of earmarked of how we're going to be able to get him the rest he needed. We also had to keep in consideration that Carlos was going to go, or could potentially, which he did, throw a couple innings in the All-Star game, and so we needed more rest for him. Mike Leake had been the guy who'd had the most rest, and the way Lance threw last time, he felt strong and was ready to go back out there again. So a lot of different things that all kind of boiled into us making the decisions that we made.
It's interesting that rest this time of the year is really important because you get down to the latter 2 months and then it's premium, isn't it?
Yeah, just a tough schedule when you look at all the games that we had back-to-back leading up to the All-Star break and then right after the All-Star break as well. I mean, really just about our only days all the way through July are the All-Star break itself. And so we realize that we've got a hard push in front of us to finish strong through July and the dog days of August and realize that we've got a great opportunity to really start playing some great baseball and running people down.
And you have to like what you see out of your ball club at this particular time in the season.
I do, but I still think there's even better ahead, and I think that's the thing that we got to keep just pushing is all of us growing and getting better on an individual basis and then what the team expectation is. But certainly like how we finished the first half, and when you see series after series, it just looked like guys were putting their head down and competing well, and some young guys stepping up, and we really needed them to.
Mike, do you look at other teams and other players that you'd like to acquire?
Well, I try not to do too much of that until the front office and I sit down and have those conversations, and we've had some. We talk about where, some of the areas are that we believe that we can improve on. But, that's tough as I walk in that clubhouse and I tell all those guys I believe in them. I do, but I do also know there's a business at hand here, and there's times when we have to go out and figure out what we can do to help this organization go in the same positive direction it's been going for a long time. So, I try to separate those because you never know how they're going to turn out. And in the meanwhile, our job as a staff is to help each and every one of these guys become the kind of player that they want to be, and that turns us into teachers and coaches and figure out how to make each person better.
All right, the manager chat brought to you by Webster University. When we come back, we head to the broadcast booth, check in with the guys for the first time post-break on the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network.
And the Cardinals have won the game on a home run by the Wizard.
Hey, Cardinal fans, Ozzie Smith here for Ameren, Illinois. It's easy to be an energy-saving whiz. Start by installing a qualifying smart thermostat in your home. You'll get cash back and save up to 15% on your energy bills. Ameren, Illinois energy efficiency programs put more power in your hands. That's energy at work. To learn more, visit AmerenIllinois.com/programs.
Now shopping for your family can earn you free gas.
Fill her up, Mom!
That's because you can use plenty points to save money on Synergy Fuel at participating Exxon and Mobil stations, the exclusive gas partners of the Plenty Rewards program. You'll get $2 in savings on gas for every 200 Plenty points you redeem. How great is that? So download the Plenty app and activate bonus fuel offers from Exxon and Mobil today.
Way to go, Mom!
Total amount of savings depends on points earned. Maximum of 2,500 points per gas purchase. See plenty.com for details.
It was big, huger than huge.
Big would be an understatement. Wow, this is giant.
It's Rosati's Pizza's Big Deal Beginning of the Week sale. This Monday and Tuesday, the big, huge deal is coming your way. Score a 14-inch, 2-topping thin crust pizza with a 2-liter for $17.10. Rosati's continues to celebrate their 10th anniversary with really large, big deals. A 14-inch, 2-topping thin crust pizza with a 2-liter for only $17.10 at Rosati's Pizza. 701 South Gregory and online at myrosatis.com.
You can fly Champaign. You can fly Willard Airport. You can fly Champaign. You can fly. Our airport is your doorway to the sky. So pack your things, spread your wings. You got business to do. People who expect you. You can fly Champaign. You can fly Willard Airport.
Want to save money you're smoking and spitting away? Want the friendliest, most knowledgeable staff to help you along the way? Vapors E-Cigs LLC is the place for you. Let their amazing staff help you find the best hardware and juice for you. Earn reward points you can use for discounts on coils, juice, and even 70% off a kit. Do you already vape? Go check out their over 30 premium lines of juice and amazing selection of hardware. Located at 1903 North Neal Street in Champaign and 2 East Main Street next to the courthouse in Danville. Now's definitely the time to stop by Vapors E-Cigs LLC.
Welcome back to How Well Do You Know Your Meat? Now back to the trivia. The freshest meat comes from your local grocery store. True or false?
True.
No. Contestant number 2.
It's false. The freshest meat in town comes from the U of I meat sales room off of Florida Avenue in Urbana.
Yes, that's correct. You're a winner.
For the freshest cuts of meat in town, visit the U of I Meat Sales Room. Open Tuesday and Thursday from 1 to 5:30 and Friday from 8 until 1. Just off Florida on South Maryland in Urbana.
Talk about important parts of the season. I think this is probably as important a part of the season as you're going to find, because it's going to find out whether you're a buyer or a seller in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
It does kind of feel like opening day all over again, with the Cardinals coming off a 6-4 homestand. And had they gone 7-3, they would have been 500 and a game ahead of the Cubs. But they start play tonight, tied with the Cubs for second place. And the Cubs have already made a deal. They picked up Quintana from the White Sox that has caused so much buzz around the division and around baseball. But I'm one of those guys, Mike, let's wait and see how he does. He may plug right in there and get that rotation clicking. But he had a tough time of it this year with the White Sox, who also let Chris Sale go out to Boston at the end of last year or before the start of this season. And we'll see how he does in that rotation. But will the Cardinals buy or sell? Will the Pirates buy or sell? Right. What will Milwaukee do to enhance the Brewers' position? All good questions that will be answered in the next 2.5 weeks.
And will that left-hander be another Sutcliffe for the Cubs? Because Sutcliffe was really something when
they're still searching for one of those, though, Mike. Somebody who can come in and lose one game and then reel off a Cy Young after that. No, they didn't have to send the pitching coach out to ask or just to tell Rick that he was going to let the fireworks man reload the fireworks, because he was the real deal.
How long is the starting pitching for the Cardinals going to hold up, John?
Well, we talked about that in spring training, Mike, with the starting pitching looking as good as any starting staff, and that held true for a long time up until they had too much pressure because the Cardinals weren't scoring enough runs. Now they're scoring some runs, and as long as they get a little support, Mike, I think that will keep them strong.
And I think they got their monkey off the back also with their base running and their defense.
I think so. They were concentrating on that so much and hearing so much about it that by going out, reacting, and playing, and let's see how this team responds with Colton Wong and Kevin Segrist back. Segrist is in the bullpen. Weaver was set down. Wong came back.
and they made an adjustment, of course, with Gritchick going on the DL. Jose Martinez came back up. But we'll see how plugging those two guys into the bullpen and into the lineup. Wong is in the lineup tonight playing second, and Luke Voigt will be coming off the bench.
And stay tuned, because the next 2 or 3 weeks is really going to be important, not only in our division, but I think in the entire big leagues, both in the American and the National League.
Yeah, I think so, guys, because the Cardinals certainly right there in the mix in the National League Central. Milwaukee opens up against Philadelphia tonight at home. The Cubs are in Baltimore. Of course, the Cardinals will see the Cubs up at Wrigley Field next weekend after the series with the Pirates and the New York Mets. When we come back, Mike Claiborne with new Cardinals GM Mike Gersh. It's after this as we get ready for baseball, opening up the post-All-Star break portion of the schedule in Pittsburgh against the Pirates on the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network.
Tom, I was looking at diamonds online. Will Shane Company have the diamond grade I want?
Of course, Mark. We own thousands of diamonds in all grades. And here's some important advice. Don't buy any diamond based only on its certificate grade.
Well, why not?
Because the only way to know if a diamond is any good is to see the actual diamond. Shane Company pays cash for our diamonds, so the cutters give us first pick. At every grade, we pick only the best stones with the inclusions located so that they won't hurt the sparkle.
Oh, really?
The stones we reject are then shown to other professional diamond buyers. The stones they also won't buy then get listed by web-only sellers, sight unseen. Those websites are just dumping grounds for the worst stones of each grade.
No wonder their certificates are cheaper.
Bring in any diamond you buy online, compare it to one of ours with the same grade, and we'll prove it. The certificates may be identical, but our diamond will have more sparkle.
Great. So then I can return theirs. Thanks, Tom.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company.
Take a drive to Hoopston for the best deals. At the Ford store on Route 1, get up to $55.50 off America's favorite Ford F-150. If you think that's a good deal, how about the family hauling Ford Expedition for up to $7,500 off? Over at Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Route 9, it's summer clearance deals like 20% off select Jeep Patriots, up to $4,500 total cash off Jeep Cherokees, and up to $6,250 off Ram trucks. These are just a few of the hot deals in Hoopston. Come in today or visit them online, fordofhoopston.com and hoopstonchrysler.com.
At Body and Soul, they take pride in giving you the perfect fit for your athletic shoes. Their team of experts will help you in selecting the style that fits your purpose and your feet. Body and Soul has offered the best prices and best quality for more than 30 years. And they aren't just shoes. Whether it's walking, running, swimming, or biking, or whether it's for you or the whole team, visit Mike or Jed and their experienced staff at Body and Soul, Route 45 Savoy. Call 356-8926 or visit soulsports.com.
It's all about the best beef, the best pork, and of course,
the sausages.
At the U of I Meat Sales Room. If Coach Ditka lived in CU, I'm sure he'd buy his meat from the U of I Meat Sales Room. The beef is great, the pork is great, but
the sausages
are delicious. Smoked sausage, Italian sausage, Polish sausage, and even brats. It's all fresh, locally produced, and locally grown. Visit the U of I Meat Sales Room near the corner of Lincoln and Florida in Urbana.
Sausages.
The ribeye has the best, the greatest steak in town.
If you're looking for Champaign-Urbana's great steak place, it's the Ribeye Restaurant. Still with their famous salad bar and their delicious seasoned fried shrimp and delicious grilled chicken entrees. The Ribeye Restaurant, 1701 South Neal Street in Champaign. For reservations, call 351-9115.
The ribeye is the best. We're the one, the great one steak place.
Well, the Cardinals open up the second portion of the season here in Pittsburgh, and it'll be the Redbirds taking on the Pirates for 3. And then it's on to New York and then Chicago. But before we go any further, this is our first chance to visit with the general manager. Now, we've talked so many other times. Mike Gersh, first of all, congratulations, and has it settled in yet?
Thank you. I guess so. It's starting to settle in. It's been a hectic little while here, but starting to feel real. Doing more and more of the media stuff makes it seem real.
And, you were a guy that when you first started working, you were kind of a quiet guy, not necessarily on the scene, and I know Mo wanted to have one voice, but each year you became more and more out there and you were more and more comfortable. So now that you're going to do this on a regular basis, I think you're going to have fun with it.
Yeah, I don't think it was a comfort thing or a shyness thing or whatever. As much as anything, organizationally, we believe that it's simplest and best if we have fewer voices rather than more voices. The more people who speak, the more we have to coordinate all the messaging and make sure we're not stepping on each other's toes and whatnot. And so for the most part, Mo and Skipper have done all the talking for baseball operations for the last several years. And I've come in every now and then to do a little bit. And now Mo and I just need to make sure that we're always on the same page about communication. But we've sort of always done that, so it's not much of an issue.
You weren't a guy that was a guy who played. You were a guy that has certainly made the sabermetrics and the analytics a very important part to assessing talent. But you also have the ability to reach out and talk to people who do have that experience. So for you, is the challenge going to be trying to find that balance between what your laptop may say compared to what people on the ground might have to offer?
I mean, we've been working for years now to bring in all the information we can to our decision-making process. And people focus on the PitchFX data or the StatCast data or the analytics, and that's a lot of what we do. But we also bring in scouting report information, makeup information, medical reports, all sorts of things that are part of the process. And so, the challenge for me isn't going to be to push aside a spreadsheet or to push aside, it's just to continue to move us forward in how we bring in as much information as we can and to do things that are different than other teams, right? Like everyone has the same baseball card stats, right? Everyone with an internet connection can download StatCast data or whatever, right? So it's not just about that stuff. The proprietary things are the things that are scouting reports and personal information and things that you get from being on the scene, not just from downloading a spreadsheet.
That's a great point you make, because as fans, they'll wonder why the manager didn't do this, or why did he do that, or why the general manager. You guys are privy to information that the general public is not going to have. Hence, the more detail goes into making those decisions.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think all the players that we're talking about, they're human beings. They have a lot of them have young kids. Some of them are married, some of them are not. Some of them have parents. And we've had situations this year where Stephen Piscotty was he had a big change in his life when his mom was diagnosed, and even if he hadn't gone home, that would have affected him and affected his play and affected whether he was in the lineup or not. And Jed Jerko had a baby, and we gave him some time off for paternity leave. But same thing, if anyone who's had kids knows that some days that baby wakes up all night, throwing up, making a mess, and you come to the ballpark the next day and you might not be, at your peak. And that's not something that everyone knows, right? It's not necessarily public information, but those are the sorts of things that, the manager knows, the pitching coach knows, the hitting coach knows, and affects in-game decisions, and it trickles up to, off-season decisions and everything else.
We're starting the second portion of the season. The reset button has been pushed. What are the three things you're going to look for between now and the trade deadline that you feel are going to help this ball club, or you think is going to help you make some better decisions about where this ball club goes from here?
The biggest thing for us at this point is we just need to win games. We need to play better. We need to play better defense. We need to run the bases better. We need to just play a clean baseball. But that in and of itself won't be enough at this point. We're more than halfway through the schedule. We're not in first place, so we moral victories don't do us a whole heck of a lot of good at this point. It'd be nice to have both win games and do it with cleaner defense and cleaner base running, but we need to start stacking up the wins and closing the gap on the Brewers and Cubs in order to put us ourselves into a position where we can still catch them and make the playoffs.
All right, that's Mike Gersh with Mike Claiborne as we get ready for the Cardinals and the Pirates. When we come back, we'll get Kyle McClellan's take on what he saw in the All-Star game. Quite the performance by the Cardinals representatives. We get ready for baseball on the Cardinals Radio Network.
Hey Cardinal fans, there's another MVP in our community. Rankin Jordan Pediatric Bridge Hospital in St. Louis. Rankin Jordan transitions kids with complex illnesses and injuries from acute care to home. They not only work with the child, but also the families to make the return home possible. Rankin Jordan is the only pediatric bridge hospital in the country using care beyond the bedside to get kids out of their beds and back to living. To learn more about Rankin Jordan, their inpatient and outpatient programs, or to find out how you can give, visit rankinjordan.org.
Hi, this is Rick Horton. As a former pitcher for the Cardinals, I know every winning team has top talent at every position. Each is an expert with standout performance. Here in St. Louis, you can trust the team of local expert technicians at Safe Light Auto Glass to repair or replace your damaged auto glass. Done fast and done right. The Safe Light mobile glass shops come right to you and get you quickly and safely back on the road. Trust Safe Light Auto Glass to always deliver a win. To schedule service, go to safelight.com.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace. 328-2424.
Tapman's Towing. 24 hours every day.
Tapman's Towing.
328-2424.
Tapman's Towing.
328-2424.
Tapman's Towing.
24 hours every day. Tapman's Towing. We have pull and we're hooked on you. Tapman's Towing.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Sure, we've been called a mom and pop store. We take it as a compliment. After all, we are family owned and operated with 2 generations actively involved, and 5 of our team members have been with us for around 20 years each or longer. We run our business with old-fashioned customer service as our foundation, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Add our great selection of hand-picked mattresses, all proudly made in the USA at guaranteed lowest prices, and we're sure you won't find a better deal anywhere. Visit us and experience the Illini mattress difference today.
If you really want to enjoy life's celebrations, you need to call Rosati's Pizza for their comfortable catering package for 10 for just $92.35. Rosati's will serve you along with your friends, families, and coworkers a delicious lunch or dinner for under $100. Feed them all with Italian beef, pasta salad, and garlic bread. It's all about good food at Rosati's. Having a party, picnic, hosting a celebration? Call Rosati's for their comfortable catering package for 10. Rosati's Pizza, 701 South Gregory in Urbana, or call 328-2334.
Well, we get ready for baseball, the All-Star break in the books, but what a performance for Yadier Molina and Carlos Martinez. Yadier, our UMB player to bank on tonight after his home run. What did Kyle McClellan see, and what has he seen from Yadi?
Offensively, he's really stepped it up ever since Albert left. He has really stepped up the offensive side. I mean, think about early on in his career. He was just a defensive catcher, was never going to hit. And, man, he has put a lot of work into that, become not only a good hitter, one of the most clutch hitters. I just remember whenever I was on you knew the game wasn't going to end with him at the plate. You knew he was going to find a way to extend it to the next guy. And if there was a clutch at bat where you had to get that run in or get the runner over, you knew he was going to do it. Doesn't strike out a lot. Defensively, obviously everybody knows how great he is. But offensively, he's really put in a lot of work and become a very solid offensive catcher.
And what did Kyle see from Carlos Martinez, who threw a couple of innings for the National League?
Well, I just think we all know how talented he is, and I think the national level is starting to pay attention. He doesn't have the amount of wins that some of these other guys have that's going to put him up in that category to get national attention. But I think certainly the All-Star game kind of wowed some people, and the more and more opportunities he gets to do that, whether it's the postseason, the All-Star game, the national TV games, whatever it is, he is going to be somebody that a lot of people are going to like to see. He's exciting. His velocity, 100, 101, his slider, the reactions that you get from some of these guys on their swings just tells you that nobody's comfortable in there taking a bat against him. And so it was good for him to perform so well. What I really am impressed about with him, the opening day starter, that was a huge step in his career, and he handled it he pitched so well. He handled the emotion. I think early on in his career, as emotional as he is, he had some struggles in containing that and harnessing that in a positive way, and now he has figured that out. I remember a game, was it last year against Chicago, where things started to go wrong. He picked up the ball, threw it down the line, and the whole game unraveled right there. Now you don't see that from him. He's able to compose himself. He's really grown up and matured as a pitcher, and the All-Star game is another step in that direction of him just continuing to progress as a pitcher. And we keep saying it, the sky's the limit for this guy.
Well, a huge opportunity for Carlos as he's slated to go for the final game of this series and then open up against the Cubs on Friday at Wrigley. But first things first, it's the Cardinals and Pirates tonight in Pittsburgh. Mike Leake against Garrett Cole. Cardinals have won 10 of their last 15. They've scored 88 runs, almost 6 per game over that span. Can they keep it going tonight and get within a game of 500? We'll find out next as Mike Shannon and John Rooney have the call as we head to PNC. This has been the Ameren pregame show from Cardinals Nation Restaurant inside Ballpark Village. Chris Raby with you on the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy. Hey, it's Stevie J. Have the roof your home deserves. For your next roofing project, why don't you go with Roof Doctors, a locally owned and family-operated business for over 25 years. They use superior materials. They're a certified shingle contractor, so they can offer a 50-year non-prorated full-system warranty, and they won't loan your work out to subcontractors. Hey, Roof Doctors has worked on my home, and the results are fantastic. But don't just take it from me. With an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, Roof Doctors has plenty of satisfied customers. Get a free quote at roofdoctorsco.com.
Hanson's Auto Repair in Urbana is a family-owned and operated full-service garage. For over 40 years, they've offered friendly atmosphere, quality work, and reasonable prices. Whether it's an oil change, brake service, or engine replacement, Hanson's Auto does it all. They're a locally owned dealer who cares, providing fast, comprehensive, and expert service. Family-owned, operated, and trusted since 1966. Hanson's Auto Repair, 1202 East Washington in Urbana. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Visit them online at hansonsautorepair.com.
Okay, you will buy me sales room theme song, take one. The meat boat. Soon we'll be grilling another steak. I'm pretty sure that's already been done before. Take two. I'll eat meat with you. I'll eat burgers and fries. And again, already been done before. Take three. Meat, 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 meat. Meat, 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 meat.
The U of I Meat Sales Room on Maryland in Urbana. They may not have clever theme songs, but they do have the best meat in town.
St. Louis Cardinal Baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. By your quality Ford dealers, the official vehicles of the St. Louis Cardinal. By Snooks Delivered. Order groceries online with snooksdelivers.com. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. By Shelter Insurance. Find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com. For your auto, home, life, and renter's insurance needs, we're your shield, we're your shelter. By Explore St. Louis. Learn more about all the great things to do in St. Louis by visiting exploreStLouis.com. By Central Bank, the hometown bank of the St. Louis Cardinal. By Central Missouri's beautiful Lake of the Ozarks. Voted the best recreational lake in the nation. Plan your vacation at funlake.com. By Weekends Only Furniture and Mattress, a proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals. And by Chick-fil-A, get a free chicken sandwich from 11 to 7 every Thursday. The Cardinals play at home when you sport your Cardinals gear at participating Chick-fil-A St. Louis locations. Now, St. Louis Cardinals baseball.
From PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we have Cardinal baseball tonight with the Cardinals and the Pirates opening a 3-game series following the All-Star break. A very pleasant good evening, everybody. Along with Mike Shannon, I'm John Rooney. Jim Jackson is our producer-engineer. Ben Boyd and Zach Schmidt will be working in the St. Louis studio tonight, and Chris Raby will be hosting our post-game show. The Cardinals open play in second place in the National League Central, tied with the Cubs, 5.5 behind the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers. These Pirates are 42-47. They won their last 2 going to the break, just like the Cardinals. The Pirates are 7 out, with Cincinnati trailing by 9.5. The Cardinals finished up a homestand, going 6-4, and they took the Mets over the weekend with a shutout on Sunday, taking 2 out of 3 from New York. Let's go over tonight's pitching matchup, brought to you by Missouri Farmers Care. Join the conversation on how today's food is grown and raised at MissouriFarmersCare.com. Garrett Cole will make the start for the Pirates. He's 1-1 against the Cardinals this season. This will be his 3rd game and start, a 2.25 ERA. His lifetime record against the Birds on the bat, 6-4 with a 2.72 ERA, game and start number 13. Cole, overall in 2017, is 7-7, starting for the 19th time. The numbers for Mike Leake, a 6-7 record this year, 3.12 ERA, game and start number 18. 1-0 against the Pirates, and this will be his third start against them this season. 10-5 lifetime against Pittsburgh, a 3.33 ERA, game and start number 31. And Mike Leake has won 79 big league games, losing 71. The Pirates at 42-47 with Garrett Cole. The Cardinals, a record of 43-45. They'll start Mike Leake. We have a wonderful evening here along the banks of the Allegheny River. The fans are filing across the Roberto Clemente Bridge, making their way into PNC Park. And when we return, I'll go over the rest of the starting lineups for Game 1 in the 3-game series.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Hey, it's me, your old AC. We need to talk, man. I am out of hair. Trust me. It's not going to get much better. I need to be replaced. Call the experts and get a new air conditioner that will save up to 50% on energy bills. Go ahead. Do it. I'll be right here. Whew.
At Chief Bauer Service Experts, save up to $3,100 on a new home comfort system. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com. For expert service guaranteed.
Call 866-EXPERTS.
At Body and Soul, they take pride in giving you the perfect fit for your athletic shoes. Their team of experts will help you in selecting the style that fits your purpose and your feet. Body and Soul has offered the best prices and best quality for more than 30 years. And they aren't just shoes. Whether it's walking, running, swimming, or biking, or whether it's for you or the whole team, visit Mike or Jed and their experienced staff at Body and Soul, Route 45 Savoy. Call 356-8926 or visit soulsports.com.
There's never been a better time to stop smoking and switch to vaping. To save money you're spending on cigarettes. To experience new flavors, new selection, and new savings. There's never been a better time to stop in and see the difference at Vapors E-Cigs, LLC. Vapors E-Cigs has the most knowledgeable and caring staff, inviting atmosphere, along with the best prices on juice and hardware. They also have an amazing reward system to help you earn savings along the way, including discounts on juices, coils,